This week's episode is sponsored by Change. Change is the #1 mentoring programme that teaches you e-commerce from scratch. Change has a real community with real results. I have been working with Ryan for many years now and have attended many of his events and retreats across the world and got to meet members and the amazing community of like-minded people. Ryan works with a lot of big names in the business world, helping them build online businesses and e-commerce. Change offers personal one-on-one support, no experience needed, but like anything, this takes time and is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you put the work in, you will get the results. E-commerce and online shopping is getting bigger and bigger. This is a great opportunity for anyone that is looking for financial freedom. For more information, go follow Ryan on Instagram at RyanJB, and he will guide you through the steps to help you get started and build a successful online business. You can now follow me on all my social media platforms to find out who my latest guest will be. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you're notified for when my next podcast goes live. And boom, we're on. Today's guest, we've got Narinder Kaur. How are we?
I'm okay, thank you for having me. Been a little bit nervous.
Why?
I don't know.
For someone who's very outspoken,
I know.
Been on Big Brother, book offer, very political, you have your say on many things in the UK. I've been speaking to you the last few weeks. I think your sound, I was surprised, if I'm honest, because it's a totally different picture from what I see online, because you seem very argumentative, very aggressive to certain things, and very strong in your beliefs, which I think is important. That's why these podcasts are important, because it gives people an understanding of the way people see the world. But how are you?
I'm okay. And you know, everybody says that when they meet me. You're nothing like what we expected. We didn't expect this. You're completely the opposite. I'm actually quite shy. I don't know. We've all got different parts of our personality, different facets of personality. And I think that when I'm one-on-one with people, and especially with people on polarized points of view, we tend to get on. In the green room, I will get on with people from the hard right or right wing. We really get on. There's always common ground. You will always find common ground with people.
I think that's important. I think it's common sense for people to have conversations, and I'm not about the divide. I don't care what anybody is. If you treat me well, I'll treat you well. And there's extremists in every walk of life, every colour, every religion, every gender. I don't care.
You match energy.
Yeah.
I match energy. Mm-hmm. So, I'll be in the green room with Andrea Jenkins. We'll sit there and I'll make sure I'm going to talk about kids. Oh my God, where'd you get your dress from? And then we just sit there talking about girly stuff and we get on. It breaks the ice. And we're not talking about politics. We're not talking about, because once you go down that route, then it can get a bit argumentative. People have got such strongly held beliefs these days, including me. It's like we're all fighting to see who's going to win.
Yeah, I feel sorry for people, man, because it's social media plays a big part on who is to be divided, and people are so easily programmed, and social media is programming people to perfection to hate on each other, and that's where the world is failing. It's not the people who are choosing a side, it's the people who are making people choose a side.
Yeah, I think social media, was just saying to you before that, back in the day, 70s, 80s, 90s, we grew up, you had National Front, you had EDL, you had BNP, all of them. There's always a rise in the far right, but then it would go away. And you'd get the lull. And that was your safety period. But these days, I think because of social media, it stays. Everything is just there. And people, they get fed into this algorithm. And it's a bit scary. It's a scary world with that social media helping amplify. So like you said, you thought it was going to be this and aggressive. No. Yeah. But I guess when I am on TV and I am passionate, and people say, does she put it on? Of course I don't put it on. I am passionate about fighting racism only because I've had to fight it all my life. So once you've had to fight something your entire life from starting school, then you are going to be passionate about that. That's become your survival.
Mm-hmm. Your instincts.
Yeah.
Before we get into everything though, I always like to go back to the start of my guests.
Okay.
Get more of a bit of understanding about you, where you grew up and how it all began.
Yeah. So, yeah, people love this because, always on X, they're trying to figure out what I am. I was born in Birmingham. I'm a Brummy, Geordie, Punjabi, Indian, British, English. I'm all of it. I can be all of it. But I was born in West Bromwich, and then we moved to Newcastle when I was 7. So I was raised with Geordie. I will always say I'm a Geordie because I think in my personality, from the way I am, the way I act, the way I respond to stuff, I'm a Geordie through and through. I'm really proud of that as well. So then we grew up in Newcastle, had a shop. So we have a corner shop background. We had for 50 years. We just sold the shop recently. And my parents came as immigrants to this country. My dad came with my uncles, 5. So there were 6, 7 men in one house. The men came over first, and my mum came 5 years after that. So they came to this country as proud Indians, but wanting to be proud British people. And they were. They came to this country, and people don't understand. The argument about immigrants really upsets me. And it really upsets me more when it comes from my own community. Oh, they're not like us, though. Well, yes, they are. Why aren't they like you? Your parents were exactly the same back in the day. They came over. People didn't want them. Do you think the British public wanted immigrants back then? My dad and uncle suffered loads of racism, but they kept their head down. They worked. He worked in the steel foundries in West Bromwich and worked bloody hard. And then we bought the shop and they worked hard. They integrated into the community. They were really the thing back then was with my parents and community, it was you respect that you're in Britain. You respect they've let you build your temples. We can build our gurdwaras, our mandirs. We're allowed to build them. They loved the royal family. They loved everything British because they said, you're in their country. But I was born in this country. I'm British. So they may have had to respect it. And I think there was some kind of colonized mindset. But I'm British. I'm allowed to criticize it. I'm allowed to criticize the bits I don't like in this country, just as anyone else is. And there's loads of parts of this country that I love. So there's a big thing that goes around, oh, she hates Britain. There's lots of parts I hate about Britain, but there's lots I love about Britain. That's just normal. That doesn't make me bad. That's just normal.
Yeah, I'm Scottish. I'm Scottish through and through. I love my country.
There
you know
you go.
That?
But I'm sure you can sit there.
Scotland, yeah. But I think the key there is saying when people came here, they respected the culture. They respected it. So I think that's an important thing.
Okay, but so basically people are saying the ones who are coming over now, they're not respecting it. That can take time. My mum could not speak a sentence of English till her death. It doesn't mean that she didn't integrate with the Westmoor community. Anybody from Westmoor can comment on your videos now. They loved my mother. They loved my dad. They were able to integrate by showing love, care. They had a shop. It was a community hub. She didn't need to speak paragraphs of English to A-level standard. But she still showed respect to the country. Who says these new immigrants aren't? It'll take time, like it did. So my children are now the 3rd generation. And I'd actually say it gets to the point, and this is a sad bit. Actually, I don't think I know enough about my own country. As in India, I've become so westernized. Look how I dress. Oh, you're not integrated. I am. I'm so far integrated. I've lost my own roots. That's sad. Yeah, I think so. I think my the fatherland, the motherland is India. But I'm so integrated now that my kids, if I take them to India, they're like, what's this foreign alien land? This is your country. Mm-hmm. But no, Britain is their country.
Yeah, but I think we're living in a day where I don't think people have got a problem with immigration or refugees. I think it's illegal immigration a lot of people are speaking about, because illegal immigration, a lot of people are getting things twisted. Illegal immigration has nothing to do with race. The Scottish immigrated to New York, the Irish, the Polish, the Russians, people immigrate everywhere. But I just feel as if you've got to have the right documentation to be anywhere in the world, and that includes myself. That doesn't include people just coming over here in boats or going to America or whatever. I just think there's got to be right documentation, because I have interviewed people who've been abused by illegal immigration, or even the Muslim gangs. I've no issues with Muslims, and I'll always state that, because every Muslim I know is sound. I'm a frequent flyer to Dubai, one of the best cities in the world. Muslims.
Do you like Dubai?
Yeah,
Find
love
it really,
love it. But I just feel as if there's so much hate online and everybody's pointing fingers and blaming each
No,
other.
but going back to the immigrant thing, you're saying they don't mind. It's not about race. I'm going to argue with that. It is about race.
You think so?
Yeah, it's completely and only about race. Now, look, because my daughter always says, because she studies politics, you have to listen to their concerns. There is a lot of people who are like, hang on, we might illegal. You're not meant to be in this country. It's not illegal. They're legally entitled as asylum seekers. They're not illegal. There's no safe routes. Is there one Ukrainian on the small boats? Not one Ukrainian. Why is there not one Ukrainian on the small boats? Because they were given fast track visas. Are Ukrainians going to return? No, actually, the statistics are showing they haven't returned. But you wouldn't have found one Ukrainian on a small boat because Boris Johnson opened legal routes. If you could do for Ukrainians, you should be able to do for Somalia, Afghanistan, all of them. And people will argue this. There are legal routes, there isn't. So actually, they are risking their life getting on that small boat. Then you'll get the argument, well, France is a safe country. It is a safe country, but actually the Geneva Convention, they don't have to stay in France. Britain takes the least amount. We take the least amount. Not everyone wants to come here. The arrogance, that's the other thing I find. Actually, there's so much arrogance. They all want to come to this country. Actually, no, they don't. Actually, a lot of people don't want to go. Actually, a lot of foreign nurses are leaving the NHS because they've had enough with the racism. They've had enough with that. So not everyone wants to come. They may want to come on a small boat because there's no legal route, but they may want to come to England because English speaking is, worldwide language. And they may have some kind of route or connection or friends or family here. That's why they want to come. Now, don't get me wrong in terms of listening to other people. Yes, you're going to get bad uns, wrong uns. Yes, you are. But we get that. That's in every race, in every society. That's everywhere. And I just don't think you should be, these are genuine. The majority are found to be genuine. Majority are found to be genuine asylum seekers. That means they're vulnerable and they've escaped war or something detrimental to their life. Where's your compassion? Where is people's compassion?
I think it's difficult though, because when you see online when schoolgirls are being abused, I think I can really feel it and feel more hate when you see the women, the grandmas and the children protesting, because you've experienced racism through your life. So you'll always have that sort of, not hatred, but you'll have that sort of protection around you. Can you imagine if it was your daughter, or imagine that you went through, because I've interviewed people who's been abused by Christians, Muslims, all walks of life. So you're going to have that hatred towards that certain demographic. So when someone on social media is saying a schoolgirl at 9's been abused, it's just going to...
Well, no, that would infuriate me. I've got a daughter. I've got nieces. I'm a woman myself. But my answer to that is, of course, you shouldn't be angry. That would make you angry and scared. Like, you were scared. Like I just said to you before, I was waiting outside. I was a little bit, it was a bit because it was, people walking past. I thought, this guy looks a bit dodgy. And you just instantly feel scared just to even, standing outside a door. But my point of that is, you can't, the problem I have with that is you seem to be bothered about women's and girls' safety only against immigrants. If you're really concerned about women and girls' safety, then you would help the whole cause, because women and girls, on the majority, 80%, is it? I mean, don't quote me on that, at risk from someone they know, not from an immigrant. The biggest risk to women and girls' safety is from someone they know.
Yeah, family, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, you're going to get, as you said to me before, there's wankers in every race.
Yep.
Every single one. It's not just immigrants. You can't just pick on immigrants. Because if you are just saying, well, actually, I'm scared about women and girls' safety from immigrants, that's weird. Because my daughter is 18 years old. Honestly, every night, when she goes out a lot as a student. I'm not sleeping that night. But I'm not sat there in bed, because I'm literally on my phone. Are you in? Are you in safe? 4 o'clock in the morning, are you in safe? I'm not sat there thinking, oh my God, an immigrant's going to get her. Oh, a brown or black man's going to get her. It's just any man. It's just any man. Yeah. And you can't sit there really, honestly, with your hand on your heart and say, it's only brown and black men that harm women, or it's only immigrants that harm women. And then they'll say, oh, well, yes, we've got enough of our own. We're not going to deal with them. But then you're not dealing. That means you don't really care about women's safety, because that means what you need to deal with is misogyny. That's what you need to be dealing with, because that is in every race. there's misogyny. So,
Yeah, but I think
but I do try to understand. I
but I
do.
think that's the important thing, is to realise and there's bad people and extremists in all walks of life.
Correct.
But the problem with me is, like I say, I'm not getting involved in a divide. I've had to reassess everything and re-question everything again, because I see the hatred between everybody instead of fighting for each other against the evil. Instead, now we've got finger pointing.
Yeah.
He's black, it's him. He's
Yeah,
white, it's him.
yeah.
He's Christian, it's him. He's
Yeah.
Muslim, it's him. And I think we're at a stage where there's just so much hate and everybody's just filled with hate, because there's a lot
horrible.
of beauty in the world. There's a lot of good things. So I need to kind of be careful of what way I'm swaying, because social media is such a toxic place and I don't want to be part of it, because the world is beautiful as well. There's a lot of good people.
There's a lot of good
Yeah.
people in the world. And I think, and I've learned this lesson since Big Brother, is actually back in Big Brother days, you know, it was a press. We're awful to Big Brother contestants. We were really treated badly. And you know, I'd wake up and I was Joe Bloggs. I went into Big Brother and you're overnight household name. Because back then they were watched by 10 million people. And you know, when you're Joe Bloggs, you don't know how to handle fame. But you'd see the papers, it was like, and you'd get messages saying, oh my God, look at page 17. Oh my God, and they were being horrible about you. But what I realized was you focus so much on that hate and thinking, oh my God, that's terrible. They've said this about me, they've said that. But I'd walk out in the street and not one person was thinking the same as the papers. So I think social media is a lot like that. You can go on X, oh my God, it's a cesspit. And even Instagram, even there, people have got, you know, they want their right to reply. They want their opinion, and that's fine. I'm okay with people have their think on whatever. I'm okay with that, because then I've got my opinions too. But I think when you go out in the public, in the streets, it's a very different world. It's actually nice people.
Yeah.
People are, you know what? British people are very tolerant and very kind, and freedom of speech matters. It matters to us.
Yeah, I'm massive on freedom of speech.
Yeah.
What were you like at school?
God, no one's ever asked me that. You'd have to ask my friends, but actually,
Yeah, you're like a goody two shoes.
I was a teacher's pet. Teacher's pet. I would make sure all my spelling tests, everything was 10 out of 10. I used to get called, oh God, Narinder's teacher's pet. Very sporty. Hockey captain, netball captain, cross country. Very sporty. Then the racism really took over at school. And the whole, I think I remember a lot of it's brought back to me because of the Nigel Farage. You know, the school friends coming up, 28 now. I will never forget, there were 5 or 6 lads at George Stephenson High School. I remember their names. I remember the incidences. You never forget that racial abuse. Every single day, they'd wait for me at the school gates. And packy. That's all I'd get all day. They'd be handing out National Front leaflets. They would, I was scared. So when you talk about women and girls' safety, I was scared. I was targeted. I'm still targeted. But those bullying days, that's probably what, you never recover from it. You know, maybe I needed some counselling. I don't know, because it drove me to, you will want me one day you will listen to me, because to them I was nothing. I was always invisible. I was ignored unless it was to be racially abused. And then they'd even, I mean, this isn't even, I don't know if it's funny, because when I tell my kids, they're like, Mum, that's almost funny. But they'd wait for me at the school gate, and if it was snowy, they'd make ice balls, and they'd say, get your packy. And there'd be 12 of them around me, bashing me with ice, like snowballs. And I feel like crying, but then when I remember my kids, because I'm like, Mum, that's almost funny, but it's not. So that kind of stuff that drives me. I'd say that's the drive.
Do you think that's what made you become who you are today?
Yes.
Do you think you can go against the grain though sometimes, because of the sort of rebellion coming across of what you went through to then going against those who are sort of right wing, sort of like when you talk about the National Front, who were massively fucking racist back
Yes.
in the 60s and 70s. But do you think that's what makes you rebel sometimes and go against what people are trying to say?
Really good question. Maybe. Actually, maybe. I'm, you know, big enough to admit sometimes I might be like, actually, nah, I'm not having it. I remember what they did at school. No, you will not. I won't allow it. There's no room for maneuver. There's no room for listening, because I know what you're about. And more than that, you didn't change, because I bumped into one of them about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was actually trying to chat me up. And I thought, oh my God, and he remembered. He goes, look, I do remember, because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And he goes, he goes, you gave as good as you got. I said, but I was defending myself. He goes, yeah. He goes, but he remembered. And I saw kind of guilt, but then he was trying to chat me up. It was really weird. It was a really strange situation.
Yeah, it's funny because everything does it alters us to who we become because of what we go through as a kid.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's important to understand people in the way they think, because the brain is just a one big computer chip and it programs you and how you see and think.
That would have been for me.
Yeah.
But then it didn't end there, because it's like, oh, that was school. Get over it, Narinder. Of course we can all get over it. There's been so much trauma in my life, your life. We as adults, we learn to develop and learn to, I don't know, to deal with it. Just deal with it, get on with it. And I think that then Big Brother came and the racism started again.
How old were you when you done Big Brother?
Actually, I was 27. I was a bit old for a Big Brother contestant, actually. I was 27. Racism started again. It started in, I remember after Big Brother going for a run, because I like jogging. And I remember I was in Newcastle, I went to see my mum. And this happened numerous times. Oh, there's, what's her name from Big Brother? The Packy from Big Brother. It doesn't stop. Then you had the press. Then you had TV. And I remember, I admitted, I did Big Brother for fame. I've always admitted that. No Big Brother contestant admits that. They'll say, oh, we did it for the money. Oh, we wanted to do it for this. I wanted to learn about myself. Bullshit. I did it because I knew it was good. Well, back in the day, it would make you famous. I didn't realize fame was going to be that awful and horrendous. That's a bit I didn't realize. And I remember I wanted to work in TV. I was like, I want to be a TV presenter. I was very honest. And I went to BBC. And they said, we normally just have Indian people as newsreaders or journalists. So we don't really have you in light entertainment, because that's where I would have been. So they're like, try BBC Asian Network. So I went to BBC Asian Network. And they're like, but you're just not Indian enough for us. And then this went on. Channel 4, same Channel 5. It was always the same. You're not quite, we need Indians in journal. So, the racism stays.
What do you mean you're not quite Indian enough?
That's what they said. Oh, the Indian channels would say you're not Indian enough. You're a bit too westernized. And then the mainstream channels, you're not, we can't put you, we only put brown women, Indian women in news or journalism. So you can't really be, and like, I've had that. I've had TV executives tell me that. So that continues. Then the abuse continues. They would do, I always remember this one as well, as a woman in confidence. They did back in the day, they would do this. You had the glamour models, you had this, and you had the list of, it was a paper, I think it was a Daily Star, the Daily Spot, I can't remember. Could have even been the Mirror. And they did the Big Brother best looking and worst looking. And then there was like 20 of us or 40. And I was at the bottom with Nadia, who was trans. So it was Nadia and me. And I thought, Nadia's trans, God love her, and I'm in the ugliest. And I thought, and that really hurts. And then they did, there was other stories where they do best dressed, most beautiful against worst, and it was Kylie Minogue. And then a picture of me. How can you compare to Kylie Minogue? And that kind of, as a woman, it affects your confidence. But being a Geordie, I always say in Punjabi, you're stronger, and it makes you stronger. Without sounding corny or cheesy, you think, and again, I think it's always about proving them wrong. So I thought, okay, I'm going to make myself better, make my hair better, make myself look better, really, take effort. Not that I didn't. And I it's always about proving someone wrong. I think my drive is, we don't want you. And in my head, I think, I'm going to make you want me.
So you've got a point to prove.
It's always a point to prove, because they never wanted me. And then another one is, husband's probably not going to like me saying this, I always fancied white men. Always fancied the lads at school. They never fancied me back. It was like, and I always remember there's one guy, Colin, I won't say his surname, and I asked him out. And he was like, I really like you, but if I go out with you, they're going to call me a packy lover. And my heart broke. I never got over it. And then that drive was, I'm going to make them want me.
Yeah, I think that's where it's molded you into the way you think now.
Maybe,
because not every white man is bad. Not everybody is right wing's bad or left wing's
Oh no, I
bad.
still fancy white men. That's the thing. I think and they say, oh, you're not integrated. Oh, you hate Britain. I bloody love white men. That's my fancy point. So that's not true. And I don't think they were bad. In fact, in terms of if you're going to talk men, I think English men,
Scottish.
Scottish, Welsh, I think I think they've got a way about them. They do. I don't think they're bad. I think they know how to treat women actually. A lot. They know that line.
What was your first ever job?
Medical rep. Well, worked in the shop. So I come from a background, as I was saying to you, because I just think I can't get over like when my kids are lazy. I'm like, oh my God, you're so lazy. Dad got a shop, and I was working in it from 8, 9 years old. At school, back from school, before school, putting out the papers, after school, putting out the stock, weekends, putting out all the beers, wines, everything. So that was my first, but that's grafting. That's hard work. And then my first job was a medical rep.
How was that? How was it leaving the dad's shop?
Life, since not being in a shop, you come out and everything's easier because shop work is the hardest work ever. You are up from 5:30, 6, and you don't shut that shop till 10, 11. And that's what makes me mad when they say immigrants come over. My parents came over and we were working 7 days a week, 16 hours a day in that shop. And my brother, and that's probably my brother's story, he worked so hard. And then mum, dad and brother all died before their pension. They paid into the system. They worked hard. They were proud to be in this country. They would and then they all died before their pension. And I think the shop work, and people laugh at me because they say it's not as hard as farmers, because I talk about the farmers coming to protest about their inheritance. I say, I'd love to see them work in a corner shop. It's the hardest work ever. So going from a corner shop to normal life, as I call it, it's piss. Easy work. I used to not know what to do, finish work at 5, 6. Oh, come on. Normally I'm being in the shop till 8 and got to put the stock out at 9 and got to do this. So I find actually life's a bit easier and lazier.
What was life like then after that job?
Then Big Brother happened after medical rep.
So was that the main goal, getting there, get famous, get a bit of attention, and prove everybody wrong that I'm actually...
And I didn't. It didn't work, and it still hasn't worked. So the method isn't working. It was, I was medical repping, got married.
What was the auditions like?
Auditions were, actually, I laugh about this as well, because I went to the auditions and I remember I came back and my husband said, oh, how were they? I said, I'm never going to get on. I argued with everyone because they put you in like a whole room. There's like 10 or 12, 15 of you. And they just, they put tasks or debates. And he goes, you argued with everyone. I was like, yeah, I argued. I'm never going to choose me. And obviously that's why they chose me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the auditions were long. People don't believe they're like 4, 5, 6 months long. And then they tell you 4 days before. 4 days before, I remember they said, oh, what are you doing next week? And I was like, and they're like, yeah, you're in the Big Brother house. Yeah, I was like shaking. But I never knew what it was going to do to my life. I didn't, you think you know, but you've no idea. Literally. When you're going as a no one and Joe Blogs and you've got married, I was medical rep, had a nice house, was going to start a family. And then you go in that Big Brother house and you walk out into a different world, this crazy world.
Do you regret going on it?
No. There was a lot of abuse. You take a lot of abuse from the press. The press were horrendous, as I said, but I don't regret it. I did it to change my life, but it did change my life, but not the way I thought it was going to. And you are literally like, you'd be on a train and there's people coming up to you and you go through the stages and how do they know me? Because you were in the house. You don't realize the whole country is watching you. Famous people are watching you. I remember Kylie Minogue wanted to meet me. And I still remember thinking, why? Why did she want to meet me? And it was like BBC Radio 1 gigs that they used to do, the party in the parks or whatever it was. And she was performing and I'd been invited and she wanted to meet me. And to this day, and I remember looking at thinking, why? She's like, I watched you sleeping, you and Brian together. And I remember just going, what? So yeah, that was loads of stories like that. Britney Spears getting to work with her, getting to work with Pink wanting to go out on a night with me. So yeah.
So?
We were top of the pops and she goes, oh, let's go out. I want to go here and want to go there. And I couldn't go because I had a different gig. So I was like, oh, I can't go tonight. But yes, stories like that, my kids don't believe me. They never believe the stories. They're like, we don't believe you. And I wish I'd taken photos. Biggest regret, I didn't take any bloody photos.
Did you struggle with the media attention after Big Brother?
negative media attention. It was horrible. Because the other thing is,
But you're not prepped though to tell you
At
what's
all.
going to come.
yeah,
Were you ever taught? You
Nothing.
must have read the press beforehand to realise what they're like. I don't
No.
think they're as bad now. Back then it was ruthless. Back then,
ruthless.
killed people.
It was terrible what we went through. We were, see, that's what people say. You must have known. Honestly, you don't. I've spoken. I'm still so good friends with Big Brother people, and I've spoken to them. I've wrote the book about it. You don't know until you're in it, and you think shit. And there's no protection, even though the PR company we were given. I always remember this as well. They with you, and he was on the phone, and he said Elton. He was talking to Elton John, and he's looking after Elton John, but looking after Big Brother contestants. We weren't their priority. We weren't their priority. We weren't going to be. They didn't really care. They were paid by Endemol. They didn't really look after us. And actually, they're not there for you for months. They're only there for you for a couple of weeks. I couldn't understand why I had security. I remember these two big, bulky men always being around me. And I remember the first couple of days, I said, who are they? Because I thought, why they was with me? Because that's your security. Because you would get mobbed. Can you imagine Big Brother contestants being mobbed and you're just a no one? You don't understand why they like you or why they want to know you. It was surreal. It was a good time. I look back now and I think, yeah, apart from the press, apart from that, the British public, they were lovely. They loved us.
The British public, like I say, you
They're
can't really fool the British public. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. They'll see through bullshit. That's the thing about the
Absolutely.
British people. Like,
Yes.
you can't fool them. You
And
know.
they don't like fools either. They don't suffer fools gladly. But you do something like a reality TV show, especially Big Brother back then, because we were innocent. You will not be able to fool a member of the British. But if they like you, they love you. They're fair. They're fair. They're like, actually, you're a bit of a dick there, but you were all right there, and they'll balance it out.
So see, after Big Brother, see when you started getting hate from the media, did you not think, just settle down, family life?
I
and
did. Then
disappear?
that's when because there's a point where I thought I need to give up now. You know what? I've been handed these cards. I'm giving those cards back. I don't want to play this game anymore. It's a game. It's a game.
Life is a game.
Yeah. And I thought there's so much abuse. There's only so much. I am strong because I get asked that a lot, but I thought I don't want this card. I don't want this game. I go now. So I went and I had my kids and got on with being a mother. And that was probably even harder. Being a mother is hard work. And again, that was another one. I don't know, I'm beginning to sound really, I thought it was going to be great, but I didn't even enjoy pregnancy actually. And then having the babies, it was just, fuck, I nearly died. I was in shock at the lack of sleep and what do I do? And I don't know if I'm feeding right and the breastfeeding and this. And it was hard.
Overwhelming.
So overwhelmed, no help. I would say to any mother out there now, or would be, or trying to be a mum, you need to be near family. This is where Indian families, and I did the opposite. We moved to London and moved away from family, and it was the one time I needed family. You need a unit around you. You can't bring up babies on their own, and that was a mistake. It was hard work.
Yeah, I think that's one of what's one of the most beautiful things in the world is a woman giving birth. You know, I always say this, I've said it for years, that women are the centre of the universe. We've got a conflict between men and women. I think women are becoming more masculine and men are becoming more feminine. I think the roles are reversing.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah, and I think it's just because of lack of masculinity, and I think it's just, we're losing ourselves. But the way the mother and a woman can give birth is like second to none. A man gets a flu and they think they're fucking dying, you know, like as much as the man provide and protect. Have you ever seen a mother protect her kid? You know, they would
slate
go,
dragons.
yeah, do you know what I'm saying? So
dragons.
as much as we are the providers and the
Yes.
protectors, I think
I think there is a role thing going on because as a matchmaker, what I've noticed is because we do get a lot of divorcees, and I think that women, and then we'll get women who just seem confused and the men are confused. They're really confused about the roles they need to play. And call me old-fashioned, I just think that family is really important. I think a mother needs to stay at home with her children. People go off it on social media with me about this because I think I'm left. I'm so far left. But actually, I'm not. I'm actually really, really right wing when it comes to family and roles. Because I think a man, ultimately, I know my role at home. I'll cook. He doesn't do any cooking. I look after him. He's the main provider. I believe in you have your roles and you need to accept your roles. And that's how it is in my family. We're very traditional. I'm kind of a traditional Indian wife. He wants his Indian food. He wants his meal. It's on him. I always remember my friend saying, I can't believe, because she came to our house, she says, you've actually put his dinner on a silver tray. It's knife and fork. And that's how he's treated. But he pays the bills. He makes sure he goes out. And the roles are very traditional.
It's mad though that we have to put something left or right when really everybody's raised
Yes,
totally
I
different.
mean, I'm not,
They've
I
got-
say
they've
that
got-
because I say that.
No, but it's mad that we've all got traditional values. It just
Yeah.
depends your upbringing of your family life.
So
Some
see, I'm
people
from-
get raised by single parents. Some people
Yeah.
are in the Muslim community, the
Yeah.
Christianity. Everything is different. But I think it's important to know your roles when you meet someone and to
Yes,
understand
exactly.
what way you
Yeah.
see the world.
Yeah.
Because we're just so confused. Everybody's confused now.
I think
everybody
women
should-
are, that men are. They don't know the dating rules. They don't know, everything's out the window. They've got the dating apps now. They don't even know how to have manners on a date. I think men should pay. Men should pay on the dates. I do. Call me old fashioned, but there's certain things. But I think roles, you're right, they're so confused these days, and people are confused.
Because people are taking to social media now. If a man asks a woman out, she'll be on social media saying, this man asked me
They
out. Like,
do. Yeah. Yeah.
there's just so much madness out there, and people don't want to work at anything because there's so much social media, so much dating apps. They don't need to work at anything. It's just a click
Yeah.
of a finger, you can get somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yes,
everything's
yeah.
breaking
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
And I think that it's one of the worst things that's happening in life is the system is breaking down. Divorce rate is through the roof. It's over 80% of women who choose divorce because
They
they're not
choose.
feeling it anymore, and
Yeah, but this not feeling it. I don't feel it a lot with my husband either. That goes several times a day. And then several times a day I might be feeling it. But you don't just walk away. I just find that no one sticks around. But then I think maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I'm sticking around. I shouldn't be sticking around. But I've just got so many in my matchmaking job where it's like, yeah, I just fell out of love with him. What? I fall in and out of love all day long. It doesn't mean you walk away. Like, where is people's tenacity? Where's your kind of, loyalty?
yeah, but there's no loyalty because love is not enough anymore.
Yeah. But maybe it's not a lot. Maybe it's not enough.
It shouldn't be enough though, because
Yeah.
there's more to it. I can see a dog and love that dog instantly. Love is just a feeling.
Yeah.
If you're committed to someone, you've got to work at it and try and
Exactly.
grow together. But it's difficult if people outgrow each other.
That's the other thing. Then I think you can outgrow each other, and that's okay. If you've been married 10, 20 years, that's a success.
Yeah. No.
Well, yeah, but I think the ones who stay 40, 50 years, wow. And I don't know if that's normal or healthy. One man or one woman for the rest of your... Oh, I don't know.
So what happened then when you had the kids? Like, did you not think, okay, housewife, do
Yeah,
everything by the book?
housewife, I stayed at home. I looked after the children. I didn't want someone else looking after them. And people think, yeah, but you were lucky then your husband wasn't. We did without. We didn't have 2 cars. We didn't have 5 holidays a year. We didn't have 7 tellies in the house or whatever luxuries everyone else did. We just decided I'll stay with the kids and they need mum. That was really important to me, as hard as I found it. And actually it can be, sometimes some days you think, actually, what am I doing? I'm killing myself here. And my friends are going out to work and they're free and they've actually come home and want to be with their kids. Whereas I've been with these all day and it's hard work. But yeah, then I just full-time mum.
Yeah, but I think that's important because abandonment issues are massive in kids now because they are away from their mother. And I think people are just lack of knowledge of understanding that kids need to be around their mother. Kids think they're still in the womb the first 9 months to a year, and you're giving your kids to a nursery and a school.
Couldn't.
But you've got to take your hat off to women who actually work 2 and 3 jobs because women are more, and men and women are single more than they've ever been.
I know.
Divorce rates through the roof.
I've got single mums and I don't know how they do it.
So I understand it,
Yes.
but I've interviewed so many people. I wouldn't trust anybody in a nursery
I
or
wouldn't
a
trust-
school.
I know.
Who-
You had
I
seen
don't
the
know what the
stories.
fuck they do. That young kid at 19, like
Yes.
scumbag. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he worked in the nursery, like,
Yeah.
and it's sad, but I'm at the stage now. I question every football coach. I question every man who wants to work in a nursery
You should.
and a school because I think, why do you want to be around kids so much? I
Yeah.
love my kids.
Yeah.
They do my fucking
Yeah, I don't want to be with them.
yeah, 24/7. So, and listen, there's some great people out there who's maybe a single child who just loves kids or whatever, but I do question them, and I can only apologise. But you must understand, the people who I interviewed, I don't fucking trust anyone
You shouldn't trust
around my
anyone.
kids, and
Yeah.
I think that's important
Yeah,
because
you shouldn't.
nurseries and schools with the stories
know.
that came out, I think it's prime target for
Yeah.
predators.
It's funny how they get away with it, like that one recently. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how? Like, these days, you'd think there'd be so many checks and security, but that's horrendous. Can you imagine if that was your child in that nursery?
Mm.
And you're at work? I just couldn't. That's why I thought I need to be able to sleep at night. I need to be able to know my child was with me.
I do understand people need to.
I know.
Free
I
jobs.
get it.
It's
I get
hard,
it.
but this is
I get it.
again the whole system's backwards. And
Yeah.
I think if men just want to feel respected, and I think women just want to
Yeah.
feel safe, and I think it's just all so confusing now.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nobody. You can't really trust out there anymore.
I know.
You know, and sometimes you think the grass is greener, and if you're doing all this love and matchmaking,
They
all
always
this
think the
shit,
grass is greener.
yeah,
Well, the women come with a list.
Yeah.
I went into it. I thought I was a feminist, and then I thought, the men are going to be the problem, the women are going to be. But it turned out to be the other way. The women will call me with a list. I want this, that. Now, men, God love them. They just want a trophy. They just want someone pretty. They never ask for anything else. They just want someone good looking. Even if they're not that good looking, the women want every box tick. And I always say, that's not realistic. You're not going to get that. And then there's this stupid stuff like, well, no, he's got to have hair. Well, what if he's got hair and he loses it in 2 years? Because men lose their hair. Then what? And then what? You're going to walk away because he's lost his hair. It's really weird. I find women, I'm sorry to say, in my matchmaking job, they're really fussy.
Yeah, well, you look at a man would marry a waitress or a McDonald's worker. You wouldn't really get a woman going for a man waiter or
Well, exactly.
worker
He's got
because
to have a great
yeah,
job.
they've got
He's
to
got to
have-
have this. And you know how much
Yeah.
pressure that is? Now, I've got a 20-year-old son, and I actually feel sorry for him in the dating world because in my head, I'm thinking back in the day, you just, you fancied someone, you got on with them, you both started off at the same level. These days, they're already asking, how much your parents earning? How much have you got? Have you got any property? Have you got a house? They want all of that. And I think, bloody hell, my son's got no chance because they already want everything ready there.
checklist.
But then you can argue, because people will, yeah, but why not? We want the best for our daughters. We want the best for ourselves. Why would we want someone who hasn't got that? I said, but they can achieve that. They can make that. You don't go with a man or a woman just because of what they've got on paper. That's mad. Like, what does that say about you?
Yeah, but I think even nowadays, I think if a man and woman are connected together, I think the man would do anything for the woman if it's in the right headspace.
Yeah.
The man doesn't want hassle. There's so much pressure on a man's shoulders.
I know.
In life and working.
I do feel really
people
sorry.
trying to steal your partner and people trying to fuck you over.
Yeah.
And then coming home and getting a sore head from you.
Is that really a thing? Is that really a thing when men think they're trying to steal my
Yeah. Well, men are full of testosterone. There's got to
Yeah.
be honest, it's a sex hormone, so everybody's wanting your partner, everybody's wanting a piece of something. There's so much jealousy.
I wish someone
out
would
there.
take mine. Go on, take
But
it.
there's so much jealousy out there that's trying to.
The jealousy is unreal. My husband's a jealous man. There is. Yeah, you said it's a man thing.
Yeah, because we're hunters.
Yeah.
We're fucking.
Yeah.
You've got to protect your own. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's important to.
Yeah, but
protect-
women get
protect-
really put off because in my matchmaking, I get a lot of women when I say, what happened to your whatever husband, partner? And they'll say he was too possessive. I get that a lot.
But men are territorial.
Mm.
Men are territorial. What you
Yeah.
you don't want your missus going clubbing
Yeah.
and fucking.
Yeah, but they
You
don't
know
get
what
that.
I'm saying?
So then they say,
You can't have both of both worlds. This
but
is
they
a-
want the best,
yeah,
best of
you
both
can't
worlds.
be going out clubbing all weekend, then going back to your man.
But that's what they want.
You can't. No.
Because, and I say to them, you need to understand. Yeah, but my husband gives me a bit of a wide berth. We give each other, like, I'm not saying I go out all the time, barely go on girly holidays, but you got to understand that. I understand that would make him unhappy. It's going to make him feel a bit insecure, like it would me. But I hear women saying, I want this, I want that. I want him to love me. I want him to let me do what I want to do and not be possessive. And they don't understand. You can't go clubbing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then expect him to be there on a Monday, like you just said. He's going to have difficulty with that, and you have to understand that.
But a lot of women now, they've not been raised with a father anymore, so they don't know what it's like to have someone protective. Men know what men think. It's territorial, it's understanding.
Yeah,
Women
yeah.
know how to get attention. Women go to the clubs for attention. No difference.
No, they don't. I don't buy that.
So you can easily sit in your
Like,
house and
I
have a
dress
drink.
like this, and I went clubbing like this. Oh, she wants attention. I dress like
It's true though.
No, I went to an awards.
You know
once.
exactly what you're
I
doing
went
and
to
what
a-
you're wearing.
I went to an awards show. Sorry, I was just checking. I went to an awards show once because I thought if anything pops up, I could see we could see Narinders. But I went to an awards show on Saturday, and the best fun was in the toilets, and all the girls were just saying, "Oh my god, I love your dress. Oh my god, your hair." We dress for each other. We do not dress like this for men. We dress like this for each other and to feel good.
That's
It's
fucking
never-
bollocks. No,
It's
that's
not.
that is-
I swear.
Listen, I like your honesty, but today you're
Oh
talking
my
shite with that.
God, no.
Women, crave attention. That's why they do what they do with the things that they wear. And women are beautiful.
So
like I
you're
said.
saying if I'm dressed like this, I'm wanting attention. I'm married. I don't want the last thing I want is attention. My husband's attention's enough. Fucking fed up of it. I don't want that attention. I want to be left alone.
See, as a man, we think differently. You know.
Yeah, but then that's your fault.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
Yeah, but it can work
I'm
both
dressing like
ways.
this because it's trendy, it's corset, it's nice. I'm not dressing.
No,
'cause-
listen, I think you look
Yeah.
beautiful. I think
Yeah.
you look good.
Thank you, but I'm not dressing for male attention. Or maybe I'm kidding
But
myself.
yeah, but you
Maybe
will
I am.
get it with what you wear.
Yeah, yes.
So even though women can say this,
Yeah, true. You're gonna get it.
they're still going to get it.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
if you want to
From
have
all
a,
races.
if you want to have a drink,
From all races.
yeah, of course.
From a white man, a Turkish
of
man, an
course,
immigrant.
Yeah,
You're gonna
but I
get
think
attention.
we're living in a day where people are too scared to say how they feel because they're scared of the backlash. You know, everybody wants attention. Everybody wants to be liked and feel appreciated.
I love men giving compliments. I love a wolf whistle. I love all of it.
But
I'm not one of
a
them.
man wouldn't like
They
it
get-
though if his missus was getting compliments.
Oh, my husband, yeah, he's really,
Good.
yeah, yeah.
You know, because I guess
he
it's
does.
territorial, you
Yeah.
know, because if he even didn't say anything, you'd be thinking, what the fuck's up with him? You would start to get annoyed,
No, I wouldn't. I'd
Yeah,
really
well,
just stop being, yeah, no, I wouldn't actually. Like,
you
just
know.
stop it.
So what happens then? You had the kids, you've got the family
Yeah.
life. Life is pretty good. What happens?
Then I get back into the game. Then I'm
Why?
Back in the boxing ring.
Something missing though.
No, because then the kids were getting bigger.
Mhm.
They were getting more independent, and it's time. It's time to. And Dan Wooden got me back in.
And how's the relationship with
Yeah,
Dan now?
see, I knew Dan back in the day.
Mhm. I
So-
like Dan.
Yeah, so I knew Dan back in the day, and we saw each other a few times, and then he started GB News, and then we were friends on Facebook, and he goes, "Why don't you come on, sometime?" And that was it. So then I got back into the game, got into politics more. I think as you get older, you get more into politics anyway. I was never really into politics back, when I was 17, 18, 19. But as you get older, you start, things become more important politically. So then, yes, that's how I got back into it. And then Jeremy Vine, Good Morning Britain, all of that. And then people go crazy because, I talk about the flags, but they're talking about the flags, and I've got an opinion on that. And people will always say, and then they'll say you're divisive, but I'm not. I'm actually, if I find the flag's going up now, the Unite the Kingdom, is it Unite the Kingdom? What are they called again? The colours, the raise the colours. They're telling me, no, it's not. You've got to be proud of Britain. We're doing it because we're proud. It's not about that. You're putting them up for totally different, sinister reasons. And that's my opinion. I'm not saying take your flags down, keep your flags up. And that's freedom. And my freedom of speech is to say, I don't like them. I find it sinister. I find you're being, you're making ethnic minorities in communities feel scared. And we don't like it. So that's my opinion.
What do you feel about the people of black and all different communities who actually go and raise the flags as well and do
They
protests?
don't.
Yeah, it's all different colours.
Nah, they don't.
By
By the way,
I've
got a bone to pick
Oh,
with you.
Go.
But I can't say bone to pick with you because we don't know each other and we're just starting a friendship and maybe. But because I did a quick Google, I thought, oh my God, he was at the Tommy Robinson march.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, but I've been at Palestine marches. I've been at all different marches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm all for like digital ID and stuff. I'm going to that march on Saturday. Like, I'm all
What
for.
digital ID? What against it?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm all right with it. I'm okay with
I'm
it.
just against I think it's full control, But I'm all.
I know, but if you go to a Tommy Robinson march,
Yeah,
you know what you're doing.
I don't think so.
I think so. You know what
But
you're
I
doing.
know people there. Do you know what I'm saying? I know Tommy. I know Liam Tuff. They're friends as well.
Yeah, but you know what you're getting into.
Not really, because I'm big for freedom of speech. I'm big.
I am. I'm like, yeah, I didn't say
The
to them they
illegal
can't have
immigration
it.
is like legal immigration for me is massive as well. But like I say, the ripping of the flags on stage. I've said this on podcast before. I don't like that shit. That's not about me. That's not what I'm
But that
about.
Tommy Robinson,
Yeah.
Stephen Yaxley protest, the speakers on stage, some of them were horrendous. And how you could stand there and listen to it and not be like if you've gone to that march.
Yeah, but I'm interviewing there as well. I'm actually working.
I know, but I had a fallout with a friend. I'm not going to say her name because she went there because a lot of people went there to let's find their opinions. And I just think, don't do that. You know what they're about. Don't say we're not racist, but you're a Stephen Yaxley protest march.
Have you ever been to one?
No, I always go on the counter ones. So I was there for the counter.
But what
Stand
makes
at the counter ones.
what makes it then
Because we're not,
better to choose a side than the other side. Like, well,
because
who's
one's
different then?
racist and one's fighting racism. And I can't understand why people can't see that. One's about racism. You will not change my mind about that, no matter what you say, especially the speakers that are on stage at Tommy Robinson's. And the other one is saying, we're welcoming everyone. We see everyone as equal. We're helping people. So that's the difference. One is hate, one is love. It's that simple.
I wouldn't say one is hate, one is love. I say the divide is just as bad as each other. But you say when you went through the racism with those kids, you know their names.
Off by heart.
Exactly. But
One's ended up in
but
prison.
some of
One's
those kids, Sammy Woodhouse, who'd been abused and groomed by grooming gangs, you can understand why she hates hate. She has hate for Muslim grooming gangs.
And she should.
Yeah.
And I would never, she should. You know,
I understand, but though,
completely.
so the people at these marches as well might be watching social media things, and it's then thinking, okay, let's go out and protest. I think protest is great. I don't think it really changes anything. I also see these protests, like I say, the divide is fucking madness to me, but I'm happy to speak to everybody in all aspects of life. But when you've got people then, say kids have been abused by two illegal immigrants put in a hotel, imagine what their fathers and mothers have to go through.
Of course.
And then you've got people protesting against the protesters who are trying to protect children.
We're not saying, well, I can't speak on behalf of everyone, you shouldn't be upset at that. Of course you should be. I'd be devastated. So I get it. Like you said, you experience that, you remember their names. That's your trauma, that's their trauma. I'm not taking away from anyone's trauma at all, but they're weaponizing that trauma. That's like me saying, those 5, 6, 7 lads that made my life hell, and I'm now touring all white men, including you, James, you're a bastard too. You're a racist, but you're not. You're not. So that's what they're doing. That's the difference. I'm not saying those parents, by the way, none, because I wouldn't even mind if they weaponized it. Would never mind. Because if someone did that to my daughter, you're damn right I'd want the same. But for the rest of them to jump on that and use women's trauma to weaponize that against brown and black men, I've got a problem with that, because I don't tar and I do not label all white men as racist. I don't do it.
What was says on the stage that was racist?
Was the American lady, I can't remember her name, and she was saying about Muslims, and there was an American lady, was there not?
Valentina.
That's one.
She's fucking nuts, man.
Horrific.
There
you go. Horrific. Horrific.
Yeah, I get that.
Up until then.
Says it on the. I don't like the tearing up the flags, because with the Palestine stuff, it is.
When you said tearing up the flags, who was tearing up the flags?
The Palestine flag got ripped.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
right.
I don't like that. I'm not about that.
Yeah.
But it's not a case of, remember, a lot of people are there for different reasons as well. It's not a case of hate all blacks and everybody's marching through the streets as well, you know. So this is where the confusion's kicking in. And I think a lot of people, it's easy to then point the finger and believe the media, the far right, just hate all colours and want to be everybody.
I think they do.
I don't know.
I think they are. I mean, I've
been there. And then like, with the Birmingham lads, I know the Zulus. I was at Birmingham 2 weeks ago, and it's all mixed. And they're all raising their colours and raising their flags.
Where's this? Oh, you mean
Birmingham. I was in Birmingham 2 weeks ago.
To do what?
I was at the game. They were just taking us at the game. The Zulus.
Sorry. What's the Zulus?
It's like the football hooligans.
Were you?
Yeah, I wasn't fighting. I was just. They were just taking us down. Because, yeah.
Okay, fine. Because I don't really know about any of that.
And again, it's all mixed, you know. So I don't see racism there. Listen, there's a lot of drunk people there who just want to feel part of something. It's tribalism. People want to jump up.
I think there's a lot of...
And there's a lot of mental health everywhere. But if you look at even the left and that as well, there's a lot of people just screaming and shouting. They don't know what they're shouting for. Not everybody's there. Everybody's just wanting to be...
I think, but the thing is, I think going back to what you said before, you said there was black and brown people in these marches, very little. But actually...
But Britain is majority white as well, though. It's 80% or something. Scotland's like 97, 98% white.
Yeah, of course.
You understand as well? So you're not going to see people of colour of just everywhere.
There is something to touch upon that, because there's a bit of truth. Because in my own community, Sikh community, there's some who we're at that march, but that comes from historical, not like Muslims. So they think, right, let's go on that march, let's join reform, because they just don't like Muslims, because that's historical and religious reasons. That's not right either. And they'll come at me saying, why are you supporting, why are you twerking for Muslims? I'm not twerking for Muslims. As a Sikh, I'm twerking for equality, because that's what Sikhism's about, that we treat everyone the same. That's why Guru Nanak created Sikhism, because actually he saw in Hinduism there was caste. He saw there was people, rich, poor, and he says we've all got to be equal. So for Sikhs to be, I honestly get so upset when I see Sikhs, Punjabi men joining Reform or Tommy Robinson just because they hate Muslims. Wow. You don't realize that actually they'll hate you as well because you're brown. They can't even tell the difference. They can't tell the difference. And I don't like from my own community, they can come at me where they're like, yeah, but they're different. Our parents were different, were they? How were your parents different to these immigrants? I don't know. I said, no, we were different. We've mixed in and we contributed. No, you didn't. I know you didn't do your taxes, actually. You've got factories. You've got clothing factories. You've got naan bread factories. I know what factories you've got. I know your community. I know your uncle. You didn't fill in a tax return. You used every time. So don't say you contributed. Unless you PAYE, you didn't contribute. So shut your mouth and stop judging and pointing down at people. Look at them up there who are making all the money. And like you said before, dividing us all. Just getting divided.
Why do you think Islam is being targeted then from your own perspective?
Oof. I think the Western world is afraid of their they're a strong religion. They're really they give up their religion, everything. They teach their children from, my Muslim friends in Leicester, their kids are going to Muslim after school, going to their prayers every single day without fail. They have big families. I think they fear them. They are intimidated by what they can become. I think they feel there's some kind of race superiority. And Christians think we're the bigger religion and they're going to overtake us. There's this fear, this kind of white supremacy that they were going to be overtaken by Muslims. You're not going to be. The stats aren't even showing that. And I think that's where it comes from.
But in the world, the white people are the minority. There's only like 7% to 10% of white people.
Yeah, I know, but they don't know that. Exactly.
I think Britain used to be. I think Britain used to be like a Christian nation. I don't think it is anymore. I think a lot of people are now trying to promote it. I'm not a religious man. I was raised Catholic.
But that's the thing. It's not a religious country. So they're getting angry at Muslims for being so religious. That's not their fault. Keep your religion then. The last ONS report says that we're not a Christian country anymore. What is it, 50-something%? I don't know. If anybody talks about stats on the comments, I'm going to go mad because that's all they talk about. Narinder didn't know his stats. So be more religious. What do you want Muslims to do? If they're religious, they're religious. Be more religious. Have more babies. Have more babies. It's not our fault that in Indian culture, in South Asian culture, we believe in having kids. We believe in family unit. It's not our fault that Western women don't think like that. Have more babies. They say, well, we know we can't afford it. Well, our mums couldn't afford it back in the day. They had 4 or 5 kids. Why have families become smaller? Why are women not having babies? And don't give me the money argument. I just think that, no, I just want one. That's what I hear. I don't need any more. Well, then there you go. Birth rates are dwindling.
Yeah, the numbers are going down.
Massively.
But we do have an issue for having more kids. Like, it's not, the numbers are dwindling down.
Yeah.
For white people.
Exactly.
It's true.
And you can't say it's money because they're also... You can't say that every brown family's got loads of money. No, they don't, but they're still having kids.
Like I say, I've got friends. I hate the divide because I've got friends in every fucking where. Yeah. Even the Muslim community, I love what they stand for, the family beliefs. Like I say, I don't drink, don't take drugs, don't gamble. I do everything by the book.
You're becoming Muslim.
Listen, it's when I go to Dubai.
Have you got 4 or 5 wives?
Not yet. Listen, it could end up going that way, man. But yeah, I just think the divide. I think too much finger pointing going on. I think social media is making everybody hate, and I think that's where we're going wrong. And it's
really childish. Sometimes I think, actually, you don't feel good about yourself. You think this is really childish.
So see, when you go to these marches then for the left, like what's the mindset behind that? Are you doing it for the right reasons? Or are you doing it to go against the right wing because of what you went through as a kid?
No, the right reasons. I think it's for my community, for my children, to show I'm standing up for something. I'm standing against the wrong, and I'm fighting for, like you said, you want unity. I'm fighting for stop picking on brown and black people. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Because that affects my son. That affects my son's life and my daughter's life. And I don't want that. He's going to go out in the world, and the first thing, if he applies for a job, and this is proven as well, bottom of the list of the CV because of his name, because of his Indian name, the colour of his skin. It's institutional racism. So I go to these counter protests to say, I don't want racism. I want Britain is a tolerant country. We're a tolerant country. We are fair. So be fair. Don't pick on brown. Do not target marginalised communities.
Do you think
And
people
they
are
target trans. And I think, how is it trans? I'm a woman. I've never met any trans woman that's ever made me feel less than or they're stealing something from me. They're not taking anything from me. They're with me. They're like my sisters. They're with me. They're supporting me. And there's not like a big majority. They're so marginalised. Why pick on them?
Yeah, I don't think, like I say, I've had trans people on the show as well. I'm not asked to, yeah. But if they said to me, I want to read their story to my kids, I'd be thinking, listen, fuck off, you're weirdo. Like, I just think keep it out.
Why?
Keep it out of school, because kids are easily manipulated and kids are already confused, you know? Like, I think there's two genders in my own opinion. I think there's male and female. I think we've got different roles. I think we suit each other perfectly if we work together. But I just don't like the fact of reading stories to kids and men coming in dressed as women and the men.
Do you not think you're a bit old-fashioned?
Maybe I could
In Hinduism, gender is fluid, and Hinduism is one of the oldest religions in the world, and they believe gender is fluid. You don't. Everyone's a bit of.
Possibly,
you don't think you've got a bit of feminine in you?
Every man isn't feminine and masculine the same as women. But I wouldn't like that. I don't like the idea if my daughter was in the toilet and a man came in because he identified as a woman. I don't like that.
But why? Because I'd feel safer. I wouldn't want a male. I wouldn't want a male going in the toilet, but a trans woman. Why would you not feel? I'd feel okay with my daughter.
No,
she's a female.
I know, but my experience has been classed as a mental issue like 20, 30 years ago. It was classed as a mental illness. So if a man then identifies as a female into the toilet with my daughter there, I wouldn't feel safe. I've got to be completely honest.
So you wouldn't feel safe with them
if it was born a man and identified as a woman to be doing the toilet with my daughter.
I say I'd be.
You'd be okay?
Yeah, because it's a woman. Whereas if it's a man, I'm not having a man being in the toilet.
No, but if it was born a man, so if I'm talking.
So okay, well, you've got.
So me then turns out say I'm trans.
But you're not going to do anything to my daughter, are you?
But how do you know?
Because a man would do something to my daughter.
Yeah, but if he identifies as a woman, so he's born.
But then he's a woman. Then why would he want to do something to my daughter?
Yeah, I know, but I just.
Why would she want to do something to my daughter?
I feel uncomfortable, if I'm honest.
I'm just uncomfortable. You've got the toilets that are, what are they? The gender neutral ones where men and women. I hate them. I don't want to be in a toilet with a man. It makes me feel sick. But when I go to gay clubs, because I'll go a lot to gay clubs, I'm always in the toilets with the men in there. I love it. You feel safe. Do you know women go to gay clubs more because they feel safe there?
Yeah, enjoy the night.
Right then, so your argument's gone.
No, because a gay club, majority of gay people and trans people are brand new. They just want to go on in life. They're not fucking hating on anybody.
Right.
But I'm talking about the small majority of people who look as if they've got mental issues. If I'm born,
so you're saying the dodgy ones who are scamming people and they're not really trying to be.
They just don't understand who the fuck they are. And
but have you got any stats to show that they've harmed a woman? Because I don't.
No,
trans.
I don't care who they've harmed.
But they haven't done.
Man's born with a pecker and then he identifies as a woman and then doing the toilet.
But they haven't done anything.
That for me is wrong though. I just don't. That makes me uncomfortable.
I just think you've got a daughter. I've got a daughter.
Yep,
I'm scared. I'm scared for her from a man, not a trans woman.
But a man is a man.
But a trans woman isn't.
But that's just changing the letters.
It's not. It's because they're not. Have you ever? You've spoken.
Yeah, but I'm talking about there's not being.
They're women.
Yeah, but not being. I don't care if they've been transitioned or not. I just feel as if you see some of these people in the American gyms, the men who they've still got the big beards and the voice, but they'll put on a women's dress and then go into the women's changing room, the locker room.
You're talking about the crazy ones, and that's like crazy.
Yeah, I'm talking.
But what about lesbian? What about lesbian in the toilets with your daughter? She's gonna fancy your daughter.
I don't give a fuck about that. I'm talking about men.
I'm not scared of women. You know, women when they've had a drink and they're a bit rough, and would you not be scared of that?
Listen, I just don't like the fact if you're born a man, stay out of women's toilets. It's the same as the sports. If you're born man, can't be competing against women. I'm a big believer in that. But I could be wrong. Yeah. Maybe it should be fair enough, but that's just the way I see it. As a protective father, I think
you're picking and choosing.
Like I'd be identifying as a tooth fairy that night. I swear to God, I'd be knocking teeth out because It's just, it's not picking and choosing. Like if a man's got a penis and because he puts on a dress, I don't think he should be around kids and go out to the toilet.
I'm okay with that. I think my trans sisters, I feel supportive with them. I'd be all right with them. I'm okay with it. I love it. They're not taking anything from me. They're making me feel safer. They're on my side.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, a man's not on my side, but a trans woman, she's on my side.
See in the left, do you see a lot of trans when you go to these protests?
Actually, no. We see a lot from the lesbian and gay community, but not some trans couple. Not many actually. No.
What's the backlash like when you're doing these anti-protests?
Actually, it's really weird because I always get angry with my own community again because they'll be like, "Oh, thank you for going. Well, you bloody turn up. I can't be the only one who turns up." And people don't turn because they feel unsafe. Because they'll say, "Oh no, but the other Tommy Robinson not on that side," and they fear for their safety. I say, actually, there's so much police there. I actually feel it's safe. You know what? When I go to those counter protests, I love it. I feel like I belong. I feel safe. I feel happy. I feel like we're all on the same page. I love it.
But I think that's what it comes down to. You says it there, it's belonging somewhere.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are, it's probably the first time you felt, okay, I fit in.
I did.
This is why people go to these
marches. I
marches.
felt like I fit
So as much as you feel that
that's a good
on
point.
your side, other people feel that on the other side. For me, I'm sitting on the fence. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Yeah.
Me and you'll be friends. I'll be friends with Tommy, Tuftsy. They're my
Look,
pals.
I'll go out. I'll go out with people.
But do you know what I'm saying?
I'll go out with you on a night out. We'll have the biggest laugh ever. I could go out with, I don't know, but maybe if I went out with Tommy, I know common ground. I'll have a laugh with anyone. We won't bring politics into it or whatever. But for me, when you appeal to racists, then I can't.
But I think it's belonging somewhere because they'll obviously say the opinions of the left as well, say they've got mental health issues and why they counter protesting against. So there's arguments on both sides, and I actually understand arguments on both sides.
I think it's fine.
But I just think
we're all entitled.
They divide against each other. I don't think anybody wins. I don't think there's any change.
I don't think they care about winning. I think they just want their voices heard.
So see, when you go to the protest, like, what is your claims in? What are you countering? What is it you're trying to achieve?
To say we don't accept racism, I go there to say we won't accept it. Don't want to hear your arguments because I think they're based solely on race. And actually, as a brown woman, as a daughter of immigrants, we're not going anywhere. We're staying. They talk about remigration. It's getting that bad. So you're telling me it's not about race, it's not about this. I'm not saying you, I'm just saying them. It's not about racism, it's not about that. Well, it is, because actually you're talking about remigration. Now, remigration affects me. They're saying, go back to your country, go back. Well, actually, I was born here, but they don't really want multiculturalism. They don't think multiculturalism works in Britain. But actually, I think if brown and black people put tools down, striked, this country would ground to a halt. Guaranteed, it would ground to a halt without brown and black people.
There was over.
Who's going to do the work? Who's going to do the jobs?
I think there was over 2 million Indians fought in the Second World War.
Yeah.
But Britain's the most it's ever been multicultural, though.
Yeah.
So how can racism be here if there's more people from multicultural and different backgrounds?
I don't know if it's. I don't think there's more.
Yeah,
I think racism.
% of people.
No, I don't think there's more racism. I think racism's always been there. 70s, 80s, 90s.
It's silent racism now, though. It's not as.
I think it's.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
see,
back in the day.
So I don't understand.
Yeah, but you won't understand it.
Of course, but
you won't. But I think.
I think back in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. I think it was more in your face. I think people.
Yeah, my husband back in the day, he got, attacked.
But there's
my dad got beaten up.
For all colours, though.
My mum got spat at. We went Blackpool. I remember they spat at her. I will never forget that.
Yeah, that's fucking disgusting.
That's disgusting, isn't it? As a woman. So I think racism is now more, I think people aren't afraid of that. It's saying, okay, if that makes me racist, whatever. I think people aren't scared anymore. I think people are now, I want to say, I'm going to say it. They're unafraid. And you know what? I'm all right with that. Just say it.
No,
just admit it. Admit you're a racist. I'm all right with it. Because, you're entitled to your freedom of speech. Yeah. Say it, be it. At least we know where we stand with one another. What? You've put your cause on the table, I'll put mine. There you go.
But you're seeing now people using the N-word online.
They shouldn't be doing that.
That's fucking nuts.
And people say
I'm all for free speech, but I think hate speech and
you can't use the N-word just for their community. P-words in our community, we can use it. Don't police our language. It's our community word. So, yeah, N-word you can't. But they've started doing that. They're becoming so brazen. Racism, and that's coming from politicians. You've got Keir Starmer saying island of strangers, from our own prime minister. It's becoming more brazen. Racism is become. Back in the day, you would never had a Tory MP speaking the way Robert Jenrick does now. There was a standard. There was like a real statesman-like standard that we don't accept racism in this country. We are a civilized country. These days, it's wow. They all seem to wanting the racist vote. It's really sad.
What do you think?
And actually, I think racism. This is really important. It is a minority. It's not Britain, but that's not the majority of Britain. It's a minority. It's just their voices are so loud now because of social media.
What do you think of Keir Starmer?
I like him. I think he's nice. I think the loss of his brother. He lost his brother at Boxing Day. Can you imagine? And then having to run the country. He was really close to his brother. I like him. I think people think he's boring or his voice is dull. He gets the job done. I think the press, there's not enough left-wing press. I think the right-wing press, there's no chance. No matter what he does good, it's never going to be out there. Any little bad thing is amplified. But Shabana Mahmood has been my 13th reason why. And as a lifelong Labour supporter, I'm going to go over to Green. Because her immigration policy, I've got to be fair. If I can criticise Priti Patel, Suella Braverman, I called her a coconut because I think, hang on, you go against your own? So that, they were suggesting immigration policies that were pulling the ladder up against your parents were bloody immigrants, Priti Patel, Suella Braverman, Rishi Sunak. Your parents were immigrants. And now you're deciding on policies against immigrants. That makes me sick. And Shabana Mahmood has done exactly the same. And it's so disappointing. In fact, she's gone even worse with her latest immigration policies. You will have to know if you come to this country, they don't want to have people to have legal stay until 10, 20 years. What? Then you're going to say they didn't integrate. Why should they integrate? Why should they integrate? They can't even become a British citizen until 10, 20 years. And then they have to speak English to an A-level standard. Okay, Shabana, let's see your parents speak English to an A-level standard. I bet you they couldn't. But you want other people to. That makes me sick. So I'm really upset with Labour at the moment. Really upset.
Who did you call a coconut?
Suella Braverman.
Did you get backlash for that?
Not from my own community, from everyone else I did, from Suella's fans, yeah.
Why?
Yeah. You're racist, that's a racist term. It's not actually, because the recent coconut trial showed that she was found not guilty. But coconut is a word we use in our community. I'm a coconut. This is considered coconut. My music taste, coconut. My taste in men, coconut. So what it is you're colonized. I'm colonized. I'm literally a walking example of what colonization is. I've been colonized. It's a colonized state of being.
What do you think of reform?
Detest reform. You said National Front were so racist. I think reform more. How do you not see the difference?
I don't follow politics.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't give a fuck for any of them.
Oh, okay.
They don't control my life. That's the way I see the world. I think they're all full of shit. I think they're all on the same stage, being controlled by the same masters.
Yeah.
Nothing really changes.
Yeah.
I don't listen to them. I go on social media, I don't give a fuck for any of them. I think they're all full of shit. I think they're all backed by the same horse. I think they're just all fake as fuck. I think when people I think that's what keeps the divide, because people are voting as if they're going to create change, but the pendulum swings every 4 to 8 years anyway. And that's where the confusion comes in. So for me, live your own life, be your own person. If you don't see good in the world, become the good.
But I think with reform, and that's a real rose-tinted glasses kind of way to think about stuff, because unfortunately life's not like that. But I think with reform, it's very dangerous because they're giving a green light to being racist. I think that's my problem with reform. That's why I don't like them and detest them.
But why are they racist?
Because their whole narrative is just about immigration. That's it. That's all they talk about is immigration. The small boats. Small boats are 30,000 people, 35,000 people. But legal migration was 1 million. And 300,000 was Ukrainians. But you didn't have a problem with that. So I just, for me, reform, we know with the polls and how popular they are, it's a worry. Well, you won't have that worry. You're a white man. You have privilege.
See, I think everybody's got privilege though. You're still working in the industry. Like, I don't think, but you've been through it, so it's hard for me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm sort of saying? But in the same aspects, some of the richest men in the UK are Indian. Do you know what I'm saying? I think 10% of London.
They work really hard.
But they're not getting.
Yeah, but that's from their own business.
I know, but they're working hard. I think everybody's got. if you're a hard worker, I think everybody goes through shit in life. Everybody goes through trauma at just
yeah, they
different
do.
levels. You know, I think we can throw the race card about easy as well. But I can only say that because I'm not, because
I
I've
think
not
there
seen
is
it.
a danger. There is a danger if you say racism to everything. It loses its importance. It loses its, I agree with that. There is. So as much as people think, oh, she'll use the race card, it's not. Don't always use the race card at all. But in this environment, in society today, it's there a lot. You can't. And they'll say race baiter. Oh, God. Race baiter is a slur used by racists, sue me, used by racists to silence black and brown people. If you get Kevin Maguire on Good Morning Britain and he's talking about racism, he's really good. He really stick up for our communities. No one calls him race baiter. Look at all the comments. I'm fucking sat there all day. I'm going to find one. No one calls him a race baiter. If I go on Good Morning Britain and say the exact same thing, race baiter, race baiter, race baiter, race baiter, how's that? How's that? So it's just used by racists. It's a legal word. Instead of calling me a name, they say race baiter. It's actually racist.
What did you think about the Lucy Conley stuff? Because I know you're
She loves talking about me.
I know you're very outspoken about that, and she spoke back as well.
Yeah, she's she talks a lot about me. The thing about Lucy Conley is her tweet was pretty bad. There's one thing I do agree with Lucy. We've all said and done something that was a bit stupid. We have, everyone has. I have as well. But hers was a little bit, I'm sorry, she wished for, set them alight for, I can't remember exact words. And considering the history of her tweets as well. So there was a history of that. I think she was convicted. Sorry, she pleaded guilty because you did do that. You did say it. And people say it's just a tweet. Well, actually, it was during the race riots. And actually, people did go and burn hotels. I'm not saying because of her tweet. We don't know. That can't be proven. But you did tweet it and people did do it. And it was during the race riots. Race riots, by the way, I don't know if you remember, horrific. Up and down the country. Brown and black men being dragged out of cars. Racial profiling of cars. Do you remember that one in, was it Doncaster? I can't remember where. Darlington. And he was saying, they were stopping the cars. Is he white? Is he white? Yeah, he can go through. Oh, he's brown. No, he can't come through. That's the rate. So for people like Lucy Conley and whoever's defending her saying, it was just a tweet, that those tweets affect people's lives. They affect people's lives. They target people's lives. I didn't let my son go out in London for that week of the race riots because he could have been attacked. It's real for us. It may not be real for you. It might just be a tweet for you, but it's real to our lives. It affects our lives in real terms.
What about the riots though? And where was that? In the buses?
Tar Hills. Yeah, but that was in their community. They weren't attacking brown and black businesses.
What's the difference though?
They're all riots. They're all wrong. But the difference is they, as a community, were rioting against the establishment. These ones were targeting black and brown people. That's the difference. You were targeting people. You were targeting innocent people.
But
there's a difference.
The establishment still people as well, though.
Yeah, but that's targeted. That's racism. So they're called race riots for a reason.
But riots are riots. There shouldn't be vigilance.
I'm not saying the Tar Hills ones were right.
But people are going to ask that question because if you're going to target
but it's
one,
not. This is what I mean. They compare with apples and pears. You can't. It's a different thing. They weren't targeting, right, we're going to, in Tar Hills, going to attack all Muslim businesses. That becomes a real problem because you're targeting marginalised communities and innocent people.
Do you believe Lucy?
And the other thing with Lucy Conley, she's never apologised. Never apologised.
For what? The tweet?
Yeah, never apologised.
Do you feel
never apologised? If she did, that makes you human.
Do you feel as if she should have got a sentence? But I feel as if when you do apologise, I think when you say shit, just fucking own it as well.
Yeah.
No matter what, you've done your sentence as well. Do you feel as if she should have got that sentence?
Yeah, she actually did half a time, didn't she? Or less than half even, firstly. Secondly, had she pled not guilty and was found guilty by a jury, should have been sat in there for 7-8 years. For racial incitement, was that her? I can't remember. Yeah, she got 7-8 years. So the fact that she pled guilty, because actually she only did, what did she do in there? 9 months? I can't remember.
Not sure.
She got, I'd say that's all right.
What
Listen, it's just a tweet. You can't just say that. I do agree with her. Honestly, we've all said and done things that we're not too proud of.
What about the Joey Barton stuff?
Another one who gets away with that. Like, he's like, didn't get a prison sentence. Okay, you know, again, he just thinks, I think these people think that that it's just a tweet. He targeted individuals and it affects their life. You know, it affects people's lives. So you individually go for someone, like me saying James is a, and the stuff I could say, that's not right. That's going to tar you. That's going to bring unwanted attention to you. And people are going to start saying, oh, James is this, James is that. It's not right. And you know, there's freedom of speech. You either believe in total freedom of speech or you believe in laws. Now, we're a civilized society. We have laws in this country. So I believe there is a line. There's a line. So, you know, you're not totally free. You are actually, but there is a legal line. You can't say someone's a murderer or someone's a, you know, you can't, because you've crossed that legal line. And people like Joey Barton think they're above this. They're above the law. And as soon as they get caught by the law, oh, it's political persecution. Stop it. Just take account. Just say, hands up. I actually did wrong. Honestly, people just apologised.
What do you think of free speech in the UK?
But that's what I think. I think there's a line. I think you can't just say we want total freedom of speech. Actually, I was in Italy and I was talking to Americans and they'd heard about the Lucy Connolly story and they thought it was outrageous. Couldn't believe it. And I said, oh, where are you staying? Because we met in a bar. And they were staying at the Four Seasons. It was really posh. And I said, because my kids were back at the hotel, different hotel, obviously not the Four Seasons. And he had 2 daughters staying at the Four Seasons. I goes, how would you like it now if I put out a tweet saying, burn down the hotel? And I said, and there's there's riots against Americans. His face dropped. He went, well, no, I wouldn't like that. There you go. So you've got to kind of humanize and personalize it. Because until it affects you, you think, I'm not bothered about that. That doesn't bother me. That was nothing. But if it affects your life, it suddenly matters. It really matters. Bit like disability allowance. I go off it saying, oh, they're so lazy to get in disability allowance. You don't know, you could have a car accident tomorrow and be in a wheelchair. Suddenly it's going to really matter to you about disability allowance because life can just change like that. But in terms of freedom of speech, I believe there's a line.
Yeah, I'm the same. Listen, I'm all for being who you want to be and having an opinion, but hate speech, I think, is a different ballgame. If you're making threats to life, again, I don't see that as being freedom of speech when you're hating and making death threats.
There you go. I get loads of death threats.
What's the worst tweets you've had? What's the worst kind of abuse you've
God, we'll be here all day. Loads of abuse. You know what really, like, I'll get the racism, that's fine. I actually, weirdly, water off the duck's back. Death threats, obviously, a bit, because as a woman, you feel a bit scared. But again, even then, they're just a bit, you know, they're just making noise. They're ghost accounts. The ones that really piss me off, I think it's the ones from my own community. I don't know, they hurt a little bit more. Or sometimes you realise they know you, they've set up a ghost account, and they say something about only a family member or somebody would know about you. They're the ones that I find a bit sinister. But in terms of the worst tweets, nothing really bothers me. And I find that actually worrying. I've got so used to hate and abuse that I'm just used to it now. People say, how you're so thick-skinned. Oh my God, the abuse you get. It just doesn't bother me. And I think that it helps. And you probably know this. When you've got I'm not saying I've got a secure family setup because of God, argue me and my husband do, but for me, it matters what my loved ones think of me. If my brothers and sisters say, I didn't like that, that really gets to me. I'm devastated. If they say, you took that too far, I'm fucking devastated. If my husband says, oh, I don't like that, I'm devastated. So, but if my family are happy, I'm happy. So it depends on my loved ones. People who know and love me, if they're saying, actually, you're doing good, I'm happy. So outside noise doesn't matter. They don't know me. People who know me and know the real me know that that's not, yeah, we're happy with what you're doing. But the minute my brother or sister say anything, I'm a different person. If my older brother, his death had a big effect on me, well, his life, he was a, big personality. He was a big influence in my life. If he'd said, you don't do this anymore, I would never do it again. I don't want you to talk about that. I'd never do it again. He's the only man I would do anything for my brother. So if he said, no, actually, I agree with Tommy Robinson, I'm agreeing with Tommy Robinson. I would do what my brother said.
What's your opinion on Ant Middleton?
Oh, what's wrong with him? I think Ant Middleton just, I'm sorry, he like even if you think like Tommy Robinson, okay, that side, I can almost say, okay, I can almost get what they're saying. Okay, I'm going to try and understand. I can get to that level. I can, okay. Sometimes I can. With Ant Middleton, that just, Lola, nah, sorry. It doesn't make sense. He's talking utter nonsense. Makes no sense. I've even stopped responding because I just think, oh, nah, you're living in Dubai and you're talking about London. You've got no idea. I don't like what I see. I don't like what I read. And actually, I don't think I could even get on with him. I couldn't in real life if I met him. I think he's one person and I get on with everyone. I will get on with anyone. I will put me in a green room with someone, I'll get on with them. Him, there's something not quite. Lucy Conley, I'll probably sit there, we'll talk about kids, we'll get on. We'll talk about dresses, I bet you would get on. Him, I think there's something, like, what planet are you on, Ant? What planet are you going to drag people out of the country? And he was talking about Question Time where Mohammed Zia Yusuf was on. And you know, there was an Afghan refugee on there. He goes, if I was in charge, I'd just drag him out of there and put him. What a ridiculous, hateful, nasty thing to say. He is the literal walking definition of rage bait.
What do you think of Sadiq Khan?
I think the abuse he takes is horrific. He's done an excellent job in London as a Londoner. People are mad about Sadiq Khan. Why?
I think because crime ratings shits through the roof.
No, it's actually gone down.
Has it though?
Yes, it's gone down. It's gone down.
Sure.
No.
Are you just doing that?
You're saying that as a Glaswegian as well.
Yeah, no, there's a lot more shit in Glasgow. Glasgow's ruthless.
Right,
Glasgow's one of the toughest cities in Europe.
Exactly.
But with the phones and the theft and the stabbings, what I'm hearing in my facts is that it has went through the roof the last 2 years.
No,
Maybe it's changed, I don't know.
From the latest...
Hopefully you prove me wrong.
From the latest stats, crime has gone down. I think it's the capital of the world. You've just got to see what's going on at Christmas. I think he's done really good for London. Londoners love him. He's been voted 3 times. That's unheard of. That's how happy Londoners are with him. I think, again, it's outside noise. And again, I think it's Islamophobia. Honest to God. It's not Londoners who don't like him. Londoners love him. It's people from outside. You don't even know London. That's like me having an opinion on Glasgow. Oh, Glasgow's this. You'd be mad. You'd be like, you don't even live here. Shut up. Like, what do you know? You don't know Glasgow. Shut up. It's like me putting your city down all the time. You would not be happy. I don't live in Glasgow. I don't know Glasgow. So it's people from out of London just making noise again. It's lies.
I don't know, man. Listen, I've been in London for 8 years. I love London. People know my love for London. But it doesn't feel safe. You can't wear a watch. You can't walk about on your phone. You even says it today when you were down at the door, you felt a bit unstable.
Yeah, but that wasn't... I had my phone out. I just saw a couple of... But I'd see that in Newcastle. You go in Are you saying you don't get a mobile phone stolen in Newcastle or Birmingham?
Not
or
as much
Leicester?
as London, no.
Yeah, but there's more people here.
I'm not blaming Sadiq Khan. Like I say, I don't fucking know, man. I don't give a fuck. I just want protection and a better safety for everywhere in the UK.
I feel okay.
Yeah.
I actually, I can get a tube at 11:30 at night or 11 o'clock at night, and I get the tube and the bus. And as a woman, you're going to feel scared. I wouldn't go in the middle of the night in Newcastle. I wouldn't go in the middle of the night in Leicester, in Birmingham. So I feel the same in Newcastle as I do in London. I don't feel any more safe in Newcastle if I went out at 11:30 at night and had to walk home alone. I'd be petrified. It's not just a London problem. In London, I live here. I don't think, oh my God, my phone's going to get stolen. I don't go to Birmingham and think, oh, I can have my phone out now. It can be stolen there. I find it really weird. I honestly find that, I will go because I go to Birmingham a lot. I've got friends there. I go to Newcastle, family there. I don't feel any safer there. Theft happens everywhere. I think people are only picking on Sadiq Khan because he's Muslim. Fact.
What happened at the NTAs?
Oh, yeah.
Is it the NTAs?
It was the NTAs. I have an issue everywhere I go. There's always something. I had one on Saturday. So Denise Van Outen. Do you know Denise Van Outen?
I don't know her, but I know who she is.
Right, you do. So anyway, I was in an awards show on Saturday. And I put it up on I thought, back in the day, she was not nice to me. She wasn't nice. I was a big fan. They always said, don't meet your heroes. I remember big breakfast, and I came out of Big Brother. I was like, oh my God, this Denise Van Outen. And I went up to her and she was like this. Ugh. She actually did that. And I remember thinking, oh God, I forgave her because I thought she was busy. You know, you forgive her. Then I met her again. She did the same. And I thought, oh God, shit. You're actually not nice. Third time. Then the fourth time, it was a mutual friend's wedding. And she was stood at the bar with me. And she was like this, like literally, I'm shit. Like shit. And I was like, oh, hi Denise. I goes, we've got a mutual friend. And she went, I don't know what you're talking about. And she turns like literally like that. Anyway, fast forward 10, 12 years, and we're at the award show, and she's presenting the award to the brand I'm with. So we come up on stage, and I don't think she knows who I am or remembers. And she goes to shake my hand to say, you know, and I just went, I can't shake your hand. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it because my husband was there. He goes, it wasn't a time or place. And she went, I goes, you were horrible to me. This is on stage. I couldn't help it. I felt bad afterwards. And she went, no, I wasn't. I goes, yes, you were. I goes, quite a few times. I goes, I can't shake your hand. And honestly, to face. And then she's like, I can't believe what she's just said. And then afterwards, I don't know why I felt bad because I thought, actually, I've just made her feel bad the way she made me feel bad. And I didn't want to do that, but I couldn't help it. People had a big opinion about this because I put it on my Instagram. And most people were like, no, you did good. But my husband was like, nah. He goes, you didn't do good. He goes, you've made her feel like she made you feel. He goes, that's not right. In my religion, that's not right.
So no one's different.
Well, then I didn't make her feel good. I didn't want to make her feel good, but I shouldn't have made her feel bad. People said you should. She treated you badly, you should have. NTAs got all ready. Oh my God. And I wasn't let in. I wasn't allowed in. I was so fucking mad. And I was more mad because I'd got so dressed up. Ask any woman. I mean, it took me my hair, makeup, nails, dress, shoes, getting there because the bloody strikes are on. Took like 2 hours to get all the way to O2. And we get there, I'm like, oh, finally I'm here. And they're like, no, you're not coming in. They said, you haven't got the right. I don't know what happened. They didn't let me in. But then they let me in where you could just go in with the crowd. And I was like, I'm just going home. And then then just all the papers just took the piss. Narinder banned, Narinder not allowed in. I didn't have the right ticket.
When are you at your lowest with it all? It must affect you no matter what, because we all say we're thick-skinned. I think I'm a strong character, but like I spoke earlier, we were talking about family courts and that, it did affect me, and you do lose yourself. But when are you at your lowest with it all? Like, when does it affect you the most? Have you ever been at a low point?
Yeah. After Big Brother and all the press and all the horrible stuff said I was ugly, I was fat, I was this, that and the other. That was a low point. I look back though and think, how silly. Like, you know, I cried about that. But I guess I was young. I think for me, the low points now are when there's a pylon and it can get to you. It's like, shit, this is like, you know, might have put out, I don't know, and people just pile on. That can get to you a bit. But again, I think when you're loved and you've got loved ones, and people say, how do you deal with it? I actually just put everything away, put on some Netflix, you know, have strong family unit, friends around me who love me, know me, and they don't see that side like you said. They, you know, I'll go to their house on a Friday night, and this is not that what you see out there is not what they are. I'm just being normal and being with my friends, and we don't talk about this stuff. We talk about everything else. So that helps. Having people around you, you know, they say it takes a community, takes a village. It does take a village. But low points, like going back to what you're saying, when you have low points, you know what it is? I've lost my brother. When you've lost a sibling or the person you love most in the world, like a god, nothing can touch you after that. You can do whatever you want to me. It's never, because that affected me. You saying whatever to me or even wishing me death, even whatever, even if you attacked me, it's not gonna touch a hair on me. It's not gonna bother me because I've lost the worst thing. I've lost the best thing in my life. Once you've lost, that's everything. I've lost everything. And because I've lost everything, nothing matters. You do not matter to me. He matters more than my children. That doesn't even bother me. Only my brother he's a god. So I've lost him. I don't care about anything else.
What happened, if you don't mind me asking?
100%.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so he was literally, he'd worked 40 something years in that shop, gets cancer, dies within 6 months. Yeah. So until you go through something like that, then everything's ripped apart from you. Nothing bothers you. So when people actually sitting here, I've figured it out. Nothing bothers me because that was the only thing that could have bothered me. And it's happened. The worst happened.
Yeah, I think when you go through, everybody goes through trauma.
Yes,
We all
yeah,
lose
yeah,
people.
yeah.
We spoke about Lucy Conley, Joey Barton. What about the guy? Is it Bob, the rapper, who was shouting "death, death" to the IDF?
Oh,
What's your
Bob Dylan.
Do you think he should have been sent to prison for that?
No.
It's Narinder.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, where
but
do you
that-
draw the line? Who's right?
because he-
Because what he's saying about death.
Yeah, but he
the
wasn't.
people-
But he didn't. Did anybody go and kill an Israeli soldier?
How do you know they didn't?
No, don't be. Come on.
You just says that about Lucy Conley. How do you know people never?
Because the race riots did happen. Race
He was
riots were
shouting
happening.
"death, death" to the
Yeah, but
IDF to bigger crowds.
But nobody went
Glastonbury.
and got on a plane and went and, you know.
But you don't know people. People are easily manipulated. You don't know if people done
There's-
that with Lucy though.
Sorry?
You don't know if people done that with Lucy Conley. People, I know people went and burned
They
things
did.
down, but
They
it
did.
might not have been because of Lucy.
We don't know.
Exactly. We
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
no, but hang
But that
on.
means as if it looks as if you're choosing sides. Then
I'm not choosing sides because I think with Bob's, all his shows got cancelled. Look what happened. He didn't go, if you wanted punishment, there was a lot of punishment there. All his shows got cancelled. And I think what he said, by the way, I'm not agreeing with what he said. That has to be made clear. I think it was a little bit, you're right. Look, if Lucy said that, if Bob said that, I do think, when I heard it, I thought, oh, okay. But
no, you're all over the place with that one there. You know, because
no,
Lucy,
fine,
you say
I wasn't expecting the Bob question.
No,
I
but
haven't got it in my head.
Yeah, but you were saying he was cancelled and lost shows. Lucy Conley gets sent to prison. She is a mother, and he was shouting "death, death" to the IDF. It doesn't matter. All humans are humans. What we're talking about, you're
But he
talking about
wasn't
this
charged.
community.
But he wasn't charged.
But he should have been.
Why should he have been?
He should.
So why did
Kill people.
why did the CPS decide not to charge
I
him?
don't know.
Because I don't know the whole
I
story.
don't know
with this.
either. I
By
just
the
know
way,
he was on stage. So that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, no, I don't. Okay, why don't you compare Lucy's with his? Well, maybe it is comparable. But what about the Labour MP? Because they always bring up the Labour MP that went about. So he was charged. So that's not two-tier, is it? He was charged, the Labour MP, who said that one of the marches, and then he was charged. He decided to plead not guilty, and guess what? The jury found him not guilty. So we have a fair and just legal system. Lucy Conley decided to plead guilty.
Yeah.
Right? Bob Dylan wasn't charged. I don't know about this one, by the way, so I don't want anyone coming at me because I don't know too much about that one. The Labour MP, I forget his name right now, he was charged because he did that. So it is fair. They were both charged. Lucy was charged, not the Labour MP, sorry.
Yeah, but I just feel as if people like the two-tier system. I don't fucking know. But I think it's got to be fair. Like you say, the system is pretty fair. Like I think majority of people's pleading guilty to it was the worst thing they could have done.
For Lucy?
I think so. I think it would have calmed down after a while if it went to trial a year, 2 years later for a tweet that she deleted. I just see him was nearly 3 years in prison. But like you say that, and I don't know this kid, Bob. I would have him on. I would interview him, no problem. But he's left wing. You would say Lucy's right. So Lucy got 2 years. He's shouting on stage at
But
Glastonbury.
he didn't get charged.
He didn't get charged, but
There was a reason why, because I
should have.
don't know this case. I don't know the case too much. But he didn't get charged. Now, the CPS wouldn't just not charge him because they charged the Labour councillor. I think it was a councillor, it was an MP, by the way.
Yeah.
It was a councillor. They charged him and he just went like that. And that was just caught on camera. It wasn't put on social media and it hit. Lucy Conley's tweet went to 400,000, traction of 400,000. So he still got charged. He pled not guilty and he was found by a jury not guilty. I think Lucy Conley would have been found guilty by a jury.
What do you think of Palestine and Israel? What do you think that's all going on there? Because the media are putting a lot of light on it and a lot of attention on it. But when you look at stuff that's happening in Nigeria as well, but why is it getting so much media attention, Palestine and Israel?
I think for me, the only way I can look at it is as a mother, and I think to be killing children is disgusting. Disgusting and starving them to death is disgusting. Women having babies in camps and tents getting bombed while they're in labour is disgusting. Tents burning alive. Children being killed and not given food and water. Dogs get given water. So I think for me, I want to take all the politics out of it. Just look with your eyes, and you can't say, well, it's justified. That can't be justified. That's not justified. That was your children. You'd feel the same. So when people say, well, no, they're justified. Justified in starving children.
Who says it's justified?
Oh God, I see that all day long. You know, they're entitled to, Israel are entitled to go into Gaza and kill.
No, I will always say that what's happening in Palestine is a genocide. 70, 80,000 deaths to Israel's only 2,000, 3,000. But for me,
Come on,
all,
is that you just said it?
all war is murder. The British and Americans have caused more destruction in this planet than anywhere. And I think there's been dictators all around the world from all religions that have killed millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
But I think all war is murder. I don't think we can justify one and not justify the other. That's where I'm at with it all. Because no matter, there's children get killed. There's wars, there's hundreds of wars going on in the world just now that people will never hear about. So when you hear about it so much and it gets so much media attention, I think I question what the fuck is going on. Because look at Ukraine and Russia, look at Nigeria with all the churches getting burnt down and 100,000 Christians getting killed. No media attention. Like why? I just think it's all fucking corrupt. I think there's people who fund both sides of war. I think they're just all part of the game, and I think they get everybody to fight for each other. So instead of trying to jump on certain countries and backing countries, we should be jumping on who's funding these countries to fight against each other. That's sort of what I am at with it all. I'm not educated enough on it all, if I'm completely honest.
There's a lot. I think because you go with someone who really knows what they're talking about. We don't know enough about it. That's why I said, as a mother, as a human, what's going on is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. To starve to death. To have not been given water. Nah.
But then look what we've done in Iraq. No weapons of mass destruction. We killed over a million Iraqis. Like, why is nobody
innocent people
shouting about
that?
But
they did shout about it.
No, but it fizzles. Palestine and Israel fizzle. Next year.
Then it's going to happen again in our kids' generation.
It's the same cycle.
Yes, it is.
The same patterns every 100 years. We've got plagues, we've got wars, we've got fucking lockdowns. It's just the same cycle.
The same thing,
And history rewrites itself. We'll forget about what happened in 100 years.
I'm not going to forget lockdowns. I'm never
not going to forget it.
Ever. I've actually got a bigger problem with lockdowns than that. Give me racism all day long. Lockdown, you're not going to look me up like an animal in my house ever again. And I think I'm proud of this. This is my badge of honour. I said on the first day of lockdown, the only person I think in Britain, don't do it. This is wrong. Everyone else were like, we didn't mind the first one, even the ones who were really against lockdown, because we thought, okay, a couple of weeks. I knew then, the minute you say yes as a citizen to being locked up in your house, you've lost control. You've given in to the bigger powers. You should never have accepted on March 26th, whenever it was. I remember saying to everyone, don't do this. This is not, they all thought it was exciting, fun. I said, no, you're going to be locked away for a long time now. They're going to have complete control of your lives, and everyone allowed it. The public pushed for more. They pushed for stronger, stricter. I remember, walking down the street and people would jump out the way in front of a lorry just because they thought you were going to cough on them. I mean, you're mad. Yeah. You've actually jumped out the way into a bush or into the road, rather be killed by a car than because you think, you're going to catch something off me. Mad. The world went crazy. I'm not having it ever again.
But that shows you how easily the world can be manipulated.
So manipulated.
So the way you see the world now is the way you're being manipulated. The same as me, the same as anybody who's left wing, right wing, Palestine, Israel. But you were, because you could have been wrong. So I question.
I knew I wasn't.
Yeah, but I know. But anything in life, we can be right or wrong. So we've got to kind of have a balanced view of, and understand when you go to these protests, to understand that, how do they see the world that way?
Because the press will tell them. It's a lot of misinformation.
Of course.
There's a lot of lies.
Everybody talks a lot of shit.
Yeah, but but your nan on the WhatsApp chat doesn't realise that's shite. She's thinking, oh, I heard an immigrant got a Ferrari. She believes that because she's read it somewhere on some Facebook page that the immigrant coming over, the Afghan, got a Ferrari. What? Nana, that's not true. No, I read it somewhere.
But the majority, so people who are on the right, imagine seeing a video of a child being killed or hurt by an illegal immigrant, it's going to fuel you with fire. Same as lockdown.
Yeah.
Like, I questioned lockdown. I was still climbing mountains. I was still doing my things. And this is the thing about human beings. The majority of human beings are good. They just want to work and actually get on
I
with their
know.
life.
Yeah.
But if they're watching the news or on social media, they're thinking the whole world's destroyed by
Yeah.
a plague.
Yeah.
So the majority of people then buy into it.
Yeah.
But it also shows me how weak people are, that they don't question the narrative and question what the fuck is going on here, because the majority of people just wanted to travel, get to work and get on with their life, give me 2 vaccines, give me a booster.
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'll get on with
Yeah.
that. But now we've got turbo cancers, we've got rising heart attacks,
Yeah.
we've got fertility problems. What the fuck's going on? I'm not
Yeah.
a doctor or a scientist, but you've got to stay open-minded.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I don't have all the answers. Question
Yes.
what I'm saying, question what you're saying, but we're living in a
But
day.
a lot of people don't want to question because that's hard work as well. They just
course it
believe what
is.
they say.
Yeah.
You know, I can't expect, you know, if my mum was still alive, she wouldn't, she just, you know, you get vulnerable. Some people are vulnerable. Not everyone's had the advantages in life we've had. You know, we're in that kind of profession where we're going to now question. But actually, my family, they're like, no, I've read that. And it's like, I don't know, you've got to feel sorry for people sometimes because they're just going to believe what they're being fed. They don't know. They think, oh, well, we were told that on the news. Question it, but they don't.
What do you think needs to change in the UK? Do you, in fact, what issues do you see in the UK now from your own eyes?
I think the narrative about small boats has got to stop, and it's got to come from our Prime Minister. He's not leading on that this is not a problem. They're not small boats, and asylum seekers are not, well, they are not you can't blame them for every societal ill in our country because they're not the reason you can't pay your bills. They're not the reason you can't afford your mortgage. They're not the reason why olive oil's gone up to £11 a bottle. They're not the reason. I think that narrative has got to go. Until then, you know, people are struggling in this country. They are. You know, people are really, and there's a real divide. The country never leveled up. It never leveled up. There's a massive divide between rich and poor. And the poor just aren't seem to be getting help. We need to help them. This country should be helping them. So don't point down at those small boats people because they're vulnerable too. Point up at those billionaires not paying their bloody taxes. I think we need to be taxing the wealthy. I think the narrative against immigrants we need a strong leader to say this stops now. Stops now.
Do you think it will change for the better before it gets worse?
Please tell me this is the worst because I can't imagine it getting any worse than this. How can it get any worse than this? Because if it gets any worse than this is, but I think it's bad right now. Me, my husband, and my other friends, relatives, we're having this conversation. We know racism back in the 80s, 90s. It's never been as bad as this. This is the worst we've seen it ever.
Really?
Yes.
I apologise for
coming from my husband.
For my ignorance. I know it's online and social media. I don't see it on the streets.
No, all of my social circle of my Indian friends, this is the worst we've seen it. And we're all in our 50s. So we've seen it in the 60s, 70s, 80s, not 70s, 80s. And my husband, seen National Front, he goes, it's never been this bad. Ever. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm shocked at that.
Yeah, that's coming from my husband. If you met my husband, everybody says this. He's literally, like you said, you're on the fence. He's very laid back. He's not like my opinions at all. He's complete opposite. For him to say it.
See, I think if back then in the 50s people were getting beat up for their skin colours, like gay bashing, gays getting
Yeah,
beat
they
up,
did, and
I
Paki
don't
bashing.
see that, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's here now.
They are. What happened in the race riots? They were attacking brown and black men, dragging them out of cars. It happened. Why didn't you see that, James? You chose what to see, didn't you?
Yeah. Like, I will speak to anybody. I think people know that now. Like, I have no issues with anybody because, like I says...
You say that a lot. You say, I've
Yeah.
got no issues with everyone. But then, are you actually listening to our issues?
Of course. You're here on a
Yeah.
big platform.
But then you
saying
don't
what
seem
you
to be
see.
understanding.
Because I don't see it. Unless I see it with my own eyes, I've got to
So
understand
that's
that.
like saying to a disabled person, well, I don't understand why you're having difficulty. Well, imagine. You can imagine why
Yeah, of
their life
course.
is difficult.
Yeah.
So then,
No, I'm not disagreeing with you though. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I don't see it. Because when I walk along the streets, everybody's sound. And maybe it's just the way they treat me, but everybody's okay from all religions, all colours. Like, I don't see people
We
getting
are.
fucking beaten up for... I see it
I'm
online.
not saying we're seeing people, like you said, getting beat up right in the corner of the street. That's not happening. It's not that level.
Yeah.
But
But that's the level it used to be at. When they had the National Front and that, when that was like, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish.
yeah, well, I think the race riots of 2024 proved that it is like
I
that.
wouldn't say it was race riots though.
It was race riots, 100%.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%.
What about
So-
the kid who killed the young girls at Southport?
Well, that was horrific. Horrific. I actually still can't get my head around all of that. actually can't. I don't want to think about it. I feel like horrified what happened there. Horrified. But the misinformation that went out there, that was horrendous as well. Come on. That he was an immigrant, that he was this, he was that. There was a lot of misinformation.
Yeah, but they did say he was a Welsh choir boy.
But he was Welsh.
Yeah, but the parents, were they not immigrants as well? They tried to cover it, but I think it was the misinformation of showing him as a kid at 13 and 14. Just show the picture. Like you say, there's serial killers and...
Yeah, but when
White,
you show a
black.
picture of a white paedophile,
Mhm.
you know, like the nursery worker, that honestly, even that one I can't get, just awful. Was there riots as a result of that? Did they go and stand outside his hotel or house?
No.
Right. So there's a reason why they can't always reveal. When the Liverpool, the guy with the football parade, drove the car into there, was there riots after that?
No.
No one cared. They didn't actually really care. So all these white paedophile groups and white paedophiles, I don't see them then protesting outside and you being scared to go to work. If there's a white grooming gang, is your life at threat by the very notion of just being white? You know, this morning I was listening to Nick Ferrari and they were talking about those two boys, horrific story of what they put that, horrific. And then an Afghan rang up apologizing on behalf of, like, he goes, I'm an Afghan, I've been in this country 15 years, I'm so sorry. And Nick was like, well, why are you apologizing? And I thought, like, as soon as a brown or black person does something, we have to, as a community, collectively apologize. Do you have to apologize for white paedophiles?
No.
Right. Why not? Why do we have to constantly apologize and we're all collectively paintbrushed and tar brushed with the same why? Why? And why you're not scared to leave the house because the nursery worker was white and he was a paedophile. Oh, James, now your son's now afraid to leave the house. He won't be affected by that. It doesn't affect him. And it shouldn't, because you're innocent. You can't say that because they are paedophiles, that labels an entire community, that we're not all that. Just that white men aren't all paedophiles.
Yeah, no,
I can't understand. I don't know. Look, maybe I'm not understanding what people are trying to say.
No, I understand what you're saying, but but who fuels that then? Who would you
The
blame
media.
for that?
I actually blame the media.
So it's the media.
100% the media.
There we
I'm
go.
actually not blaming individually Tommy Robinson, that person. I blame the media and the buck stops with the Prime Minister. Stop it. You need to stop this. Because what's this fueling, this adding to the fire?
Do you believe there's a bigger agenda behind it though?
I think Trump they need a far-right government in power. They've got such fear of Islam, the spread of Islam. They've got such fear of it. I think that it's coming from Trump and it's spreading over.
But this is where they're trying to bring in digital ID possibly, but you're okay for digital ID?
I'm okay, I've got nothing to hide. I don't understand why people are scared of digital ID. It's easy in one place. I don't want a passport, this, that and the other. What have you got to hide? I'm not scared.
Because the way, I think maybe China or North Korea is, I think with the digital ID, a digital ID's been in Sweden and other countries for many years, but in Australia I think as well. But
and India.
A lot of people are fearful of it because if you don't follow by the rules, they can stop your credit, they can stop you travelling, they can stop many other things. So I think people are a bit wary of it's going to take up full control of your life if you step out of line. So that's where a lot of people are confused.
That's fear-mongering, scaremongering again, I think.
Everything
like
is
they did with
scaremongering.
COVID. For me, I just see it as a simplified version. I see it as progressive.
Did you get the vaccine?
No. I did after when the full lockdowns, because I'm asthmatic. So I was high risk. So I did get the vaccine. Yeah, I did.
Silly bastard.
I know. I didn't let my kids listen to this story at school. All the kids were lined up. My two, they were mortified. It's like they said, they'll never forget. They were in that classroom and they were the only two out the entire school that did not get their vaccine. I'm proud of that. And the teacher said to my kids, I can't believe your mother's not letting you get vaccinated. It's a disgrace. And my kids nearly died. They said to this day, they're still mortified at that, being the only two that were not in that queue. I said, I'm proud of that. I'm proud. Rather than my daughter, I don't know if it's going to mess with her fertility or his. I don't know what it's going to do.
But that's what peer pressure does.
Well,
that's why in life people choose sides.
Yeah, well, my kids were taught, don't give a shit, you're not getting vaccinated.
So do you think there's going to be change? Do you think we're going to these protests, it's going to change? Because I know people use the rage baiting, and you're very good at that. You do know how to cause and
You
stir the...
think?
Oh, fucking hell, man, you're good at that. Especially on
Sometimes I
X.
do it without even, honestly, the tweets I think are going to get no traction. Of some reason, the ones that just go wild, like the Italy one, all I put was like, I'm sick of eating bloody pizza, whatever I put. 10 million Italians, the Italian mob against me. I was thinking, oh my God. And the ones that I think, right, this is a real political, nothing.
So the one in Italy, you says you were in Italy and you wanted different cuisine?
I just said the food was shit, and it was, I'm sorry to Italy. I know they're really prideful, but I went, and people are like, you just went to tourist places. I was there a week. I went to 3 different restaurants a day and tried everywhere that was recommended. I just didn't rate the food. It was the first time to Italy. I was so excited. It was just bland as it was like baby slop food. Yeah. And then that's what I put. I just put, look, I just thought, hang on, you come to London, you get an Indian, you get a Chinese, you get you get everything here. You can't eat pizza for 7 days. You can't. Yeah, and that one, people went wild.
If I went to India, I would want to see Indian flags and I would want to eat Indian food.
I don't see Indian flags everywhere. We don't do that.
But that's what I'm saying with the culture in Italy. That's their culture as well,
Yes.
So you can understand the backlash.
Yeah, okay, but that one I don't mind, because look, they're proud. But if you go to India, like you come to London, you're going to get every cuisine. India doesn't just do curry. They do Chinese, they do Western, they do everything. We're a global world. People are so scared of being global. We are a global world. So you get everything in India.
What's the one tweet that's gave you the most hate?
You know.
I don't know.
You don't.
No, I just know you're controversial on it. You might not even mean to be, but I think you play the game well.
It was the Kate Middleton tweet.
Oh, when you says that
She looked aged.
Does she smoke or something? You said
Exactly. I'm glad you said that, because my point was, does she smoke? I'm a real anti-smoker. Anybody who knows me. When we used to have customers coming in the shop when I was growing up, and they say 20 Regal king size and 4 cans of McEwen's lager, I'd always say, smoking's really bad for you. It can cause cancer and it's going to really age you. I'm really into my anti-aging. Now, what I should have said, probably, this is my point about racism. Right. I'd seen loads of women, Caucasian women, saying, Kate's really aged. Daily Mail have been saying it for years. Why does she look older than her years? They've been saying it for ages. So loads of people saying the day after, and the problem was it was Remembrance Sunday. Ugh, right? And I looked at her, and I think Kate Middleton, so many people go wrong. I think she's stunning. She's beautiful. You know how she looked at whose funeral was in that black. She's stunning. Meghan's beautiful. They're both very beautiful women. I just thought she looked, what I should have said was tired. I said aged, because I'd seen loads of people say, when you see tweets, it kind of subliminally side, but she looks aged today. She's probably tired. I didn't think of the cancer because people firstly, they'd said she'd overcome it. Secondly, Sky News 4 days before said it wasn't cancer, it was just pre-cancerous stuff. I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking, remembering years ago when she was photographed with a cigarette, I thought she's a smoker. So I'd put, does she smoke? That was the worst ever. Then I had to do this apology thing, and I get shivers thinking about it. I feel scared thinking about it, because I thought, I didn't mean it like that. What the hell? I did my apologies, and yeah, that was the worst, I think. But other people were like, don't even know what she's talking about. Don't even that they'll find another one that thinks bad. So you think I'm good at doing the?
How do you feel? You do a lot of debates.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Vine and stuff. Well, what's Jeremy Vine actually like?
He's really nice.
It's him on a bike, innit? It's him with a Joy Bar and stuff.
Jeremy Vine is so lovely. He's a real friend, and he really looks out for people. And he realizes, he really has this knack of knowing you need a friend, you need support. He's really good. He's really lovely.
Is that him that videos people on the bikes though and looks in their windows? Because you've got the other guy who does that, he used to video people on their phone. What's his name?
Oh, I don't know.
he's a
But
bike
they
guy.
shouldn't be on their phone.
Oh, of course, I
They
get
shouldn't be
it.
on their
But it's still
phone.
a grass, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
People are parked up.
I like being a grass.
Yeah.
I'm all for being a grassy.
How was Jeremy going through the Joey Barton stuff? Did that affect him, or is it just is he used to it? Kind of getting.
We didn't really talk about
I
it.
know.
No, we didn't really talk about it, but it would affect. That's a horrible thing to say. So we didn't really talk about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how are you doing your debates and stuff? Do you enjoy it?
You know,
or
I
do you
get tired. I get like,
it drains you.
because your job isn't to just like debate and fight someone.
Mhm.
So it gets a bit tiring. And I just want to talk nice stuff. I want to just talk about what did, Victoria Beckham wear. I just want to talk about easy stuff. Sometimes I just want easy stuff. I don't want to fight all my life, and I'm fighting all my life.
When are you at your happiest?
When I'm on my own, husband's gone out the house, kids are out, and I'm on I've got the remote control. I don't have to flip and cook for anyone. Just me. I really love being by myself.
What's your plans for the future?
My own TV show. I still want Loose Women. I've been begging Loose Women for 25 years that they don't want me on.
Why?
Don't know. Don't know. They didn't want me on 25 years ago. They didn't want me 10 years ago, and they still don't want me. And yeah, I do beg it. I beg it with Strictly. I'm not, people say, oh, you're such a beg. I love being a beg. I'm a beg. I want to be on Strictly. I want to do Jungle. I want to do all of it. I want Loose Women. Yeah, I'm a beg. But they don't want me. Again, James, it comes down to that. They don't want me.
But what is that then?
Don't-
What is it you're searching for? Like, what is it is missing? Like, what are you looking for?
People to want me, and they don't.
To be liked, to be accepted?
Not liked.
Is accepted?
Wanted. Wanted, not wanted. I think that's what it is. I've never been wanted.
Yeah, but you must have if you're
Other
still
than by my husband.
if you're still doing all those shows and that.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? It's not as if you don't
Maybe I'm
get
just
work.
greedy and I want more.
Do you think? I think all humans are greedy though, but there must
Okay.
be something internal where it's keep pushing you to do what you're doing.
Yeah, because I'm ambitious. I've got stuff to prove. I've got a lot to do. Yeah, I don't feel I've achieved what I need to achieve in life.
How does it affect your kids in that though? With the mother just being
They're
outspoken
like,
and causing drama.
Oh God, mum, stop. What have you said now? Oh, mum. Yeah, but I think that they secretly support it. But there's a lot of times they're like, oh my God, mum, what did you say?
When was the last time you cried?
I will only ever cry for my brother. So if I talk about my brother, I'll cry. No, nothing else will ever make me cry in life. Nothing. I'm tough like that. But that's not tough. Only my brother's death will make me cry. Anything to my brother, I will cry. Even thinking about it, my kids will say, oh my God, don't bring up that. They'll stop talking because they know a song comes on. Switch it off, she'll stop crying. Oh my God, something about them related to my brother. Quickly switch it off. She's going to stop crying. That's the only thing that will make me cry. Nothing else will make me cry.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. Like I say, you're a decent person.
We're
You're
all
good.
decent. It was
You're
not
all right,
good.
man. You're all right. Like I say, I spoke to you beforehand, so I always knew you were going to be all right. Social media does portray you as a witch, though. It's like
That makes me
something.
feel sad.
But you know what you're doing, though, because it's like you're not choosing arguments, but you're.
I believe
It's hard
in
to
it. It's not a
explain.
lie,
Yeah,
James.
that's
I
a
believe
good
in
thing.
it.
But
It's not a lie. You can't put up something because people say you just do this. I don't.
what is the left and right to you, though? Like, what does it mean? Like when you see it, like what is it?
What about
When
what?
you're left and right, like when people
I
all
get
read
really,
brackets.
the left right thing I find really weird, by the way, because I just think sometimes I can be really right wing, sometimes I can be that. I don't think like you said, just don't put people in boxes. I just don't put people in boxes. When people say you're really good at what you do, and I'm thinking, I just think actually I don't agree with that. Sorry. And if you're going to come at me, bloody come at me. Come at me. I don't care. You don't mean anything to me in my life. It doesn't bother me.
What about UKIP? Nick Tincone, what's your opinions on
I
them?
just think there's nothing there really. I don't really have much of an opinion. I saw him I happened to be at the march because one of his guys got lost. So we were at the top of Marble Arch and I think he was vulnerable and he had a whole flag. And he was, because where are you going? He goes, I don't know where the UKIP march is. I was all the way at the bottom. And he was vulnerable. So we walked him down. So we get there and then Nick says, arrest Narinder. Yeah, I know, because there's stand up against racism weren't allowed there, but they weren't even there. They were at Tower Hamlets. I wasn't even with them. So yeah, don't really have much to say about him. I think he takes, obviously that's extreme. But I do believe freedom of speech is entitled.
Yeah, it's
I
important.
honestly, because people said, oh, what do you think about them, their march? It's fine. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. I've got no problem. We've all got our rights to freedom to march and protest. Do it.
For anybody watching, Narinder, I know you've had your own struggles, you go through a bit yourself. What advice would you have for anyone who's in a life of struggle right now?
I don't know, I've had so many struggles and so many shit times. So what I live by is you're going to have bad times, you're going to have good. You'll come out of the bad time. You will, that's guaranteed. I promise you, your bad time will end. It will. You're going to come to that light at the end of the tunnel. That's a guarantee. You don't stay in the tunnel, but you might come across another tunnel and you're going to go through another bad time. Good times don't last, bad times don't last. So you just got to accept. I think there's an Indian saying, you accept joy, accept bad times, accept sad, accept all of it, accept success, accept failure. I've had so many failures. I feel like I'm in a boxing ring and box, and I get down, I get back up. They knock me out, I get back up. I'm constantly getting back up. And I just think that's life. You have to accept that life isn't always going to be great. And you're going to have hard times, but you just need loved ones around you. Even if it's one person who likes you, that's all you need.
How are you feeling today?
Feel all right.
You've done amazing, by the way. Like I say, your
Have I
sound.
talked too much?
Yeah, this is perfect for me. Like
You're like, shit, she's giving it all away.
no, listen, I think it's great for you to tell things. I think what you're doing is very brave as well, because you're going against the narrative. The majority of people just love to fucking hate and just love to choose sides. Like, I think it's good to be outspoken. I think it's good to have an opinion. I think it's good to understand people's opinions. Would you like to finish up on anything else?
No, I think we've covered so much there. I think we have, yeah. Thank you.
Again, thanks for your time. I wish you nothing but the best for the future, and I look forward to seeing what you do. God bless
thank
Narinder,
you.
and speak to you soon.
Thank you.